welcome back to another episode of... Wait, we're not doing my show, are we?
No, we're not, Brian.
My bad. This is the... Let me start over again. Welcome back to the 100th episode of the Steel Target Paint Podcast. I'm Brian Conley, sitting here with Jeff Jones, Steve Foster, and a guy that can't fix his phone yet, Larry Joe Steely Jr. But this is not my show. I just want to do the introduction. Jeff, how you doing, brother?
Brian, we're doing great. Thank you so much for letting us use the HD Magical Mystery Tour Van Lounge to have our 100th episode. Larry and I were talking yesterday, and he's just blown away that we've gotten to 100, as are Steve and I. This is a passion project of just being able to, you know, when we talk, I get to talk with one of my best friends about shooting. Sometimes we have other people on, and I go back to that very first episode. It took Steve 3, maybe 4 hours to edit it.
Oh, my goodness.
Was it that bad, Steve? All right, pause on that one. So you got the...
Jeff, you know, so, Brian, here's what... So, as they say, what had happened was I went down to CVS, and I got Jeff a card. And it's a get better card. I said, no more word fillers, Jeff.
So you have
to stop.
See, it was a gift card. You had to pay it.
How long ago was that? It was 5 years ago?
At least.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range. You know, I mean, we've averaged. We were doing really good there for a while,
right?
And cranking one out every week, and then life got in the way, and that's the wonderful thing, and both Steve and I really appreciate Larry's support in this, is that he knows we will get these out when we can get them out,
right?
That we're not beholden. We just love doing it, but again, you know, Steve has had some things going on. I've had some things going on.
Right.
Life gets in the way, and so that's what makes this so much fun. Is that it's not a job,
right?
It's a passion.
Yep. Well, let's go to Larry for a second. You know, and I guess Steve, who went to Larry about the idea for a podcast to begin with?
Well, I think it involved a little bit of money, so I went.
Okay.
Just like, hey, Steve, we need some money to, host this web service and all this kind of stuff. I said, hey, Larry, we got a great idea. Jeff likes to talk, and we want to put him on the radio. So, what do you think of that? So, yeah, it's been a couple of years. It's been a wild ride over the last. Man, I was talking to my wife last night about Steel Target Paint. I think we've had the team together for 8 full years now, which is absolutely crazy. And I think part of where the podcast came from is there wasn't really a good resource for a lot of things for Steel Target or for Steel Challenge to get information out there as the podcast grew and developed and that kind of thing. And, you know, there's just a lot of changes that happened, and so there really wasn't a conduit for, you know, USPSA and Rimfire Challenge and a couple of the other shooting sports to bring some updates and cool things of what's going on and what matches are out there. And yeah, so it's been a wild ride for the last couple of years.
Steve, I want to interrupt you for a second. We've got our first guest. Okay, this is an open podcast. We got our first guest stepping in, Brad Jeffers. Okay, Brad, we're going to get you on the headset here, and we just want to say hi. How's your match been going?
Hey, it's going great, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing great, having fun. You know, thanks for stopping by. I will say this. I talk, you know, for those that come to the match, they know that Baby Yoda is my mascot. And he did something this morning. And he said, you know, the first guest that shows up to the podcast ought to get something. Okay? And so what you've won is a sidekick timer.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
From
right,
AMG Labs.
Hang on.
Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
So Alex gave me 50 of them, but he gave me some leniency to do some things with them giving them away. And
Awesome.
so the first guest of our podcast
Sweet.
wins a dry fire timer. So this is why everybody who's here, you should have shown up because
I know.
you never know what this crazy podcast is going to do.
Hey, this is a pretty high society group here. I don't know the Ohio Country Boy fits in very well, but I've barged better parties, right?
Wait. Steve, has he met me?
Yeah.
Nobody's met your socks this morning. Look at those things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Today-
Brian's shoes are the best, though. So
Yeah.
far, he wins the shoe category by a long ways.
Yeah.
So
Wednesday, walking around, I had Oompa Loompa socks on. Then first day shooting, I had my AR 511 socks on. Yesterday, I had my I'm retired socks on. Today is Mario and Luigi. And tomorrow is a pair that was given to me by one of my students, and we're just going to keep that a secret until everybody sees them tomorrow.
only Jeff plans his socks for a week. I can't figure out what gun I want to shoot tomorrow.
Well, I heard a rumor that Jeff's retired, so he's,
I heard that rumor, yeah.
I have to spend my time doing something.
If you'd shoot slower, you could spend a little more time shooting,
So, Brad, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. So, I think, I was on your podcast for you and Jesse, and you're the team captain of the Precision Defense Shooting Team, which Chet Whistle, formerly CWA, sold his business to Precision Defense. So, why don't you introduce yourself and let people know a little bit about you?
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I'm actually pretty new to Steel Challenge. I started playing around just a little bit, had no idea what I was doing, and then thought, hey, I'm going to try to figure this thing out. So I called you, actually, and said, hey, I'm going to come to Georgia and see what I can learn. And we kind of cultivate a relationship there that's grown into a really good friendship, which is fun. So, but my background is athletics. It seems like through my whole life, I started, I played some sports in high school, got a little more serious about golf and some other things. I've always been self-employed or unemployed, as my wife says. So
You gamble every day, don't you?
exactly, man. But anyway, I've been blessed to be around just some really cool athletes and coaches and that kind of stuff. So I've had that kind of competitive gene, and I like to learn.
Yeah.
So which is one reason that our conversation stimulated me to the point like, hey, I can learn some stuff here. So I really caught on, had some fun with that, and I've been having fun with this game. And trying to apply other things that I've learned in other games to this one, which a lot of them really carry over nicely. So, so I'm kind of taking my coaching background.
Brad, I'm going to interrupt here for a second because
That's surprising.
So you've heard the podcast.
That was my point. I don't know if Steve remembers, but we've had Brad on the podcast.
Did we?
We did a coaching one.
That's right. You're exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep.
So, but yeah,
It's getting old and fuzzy
Yeah.
up there,
It
but
is,
there,
man. I can't even tell you.
I have moments of clarity.
he's not near as old as we are, right, Jeff? But yeah. So anyway, that's been kind of like my journey into steel and my competitive background. I really enjoy the coaching, teaching aspect of any kind of sport. So I just like looking at things through different mindsets and trying to find maybe a little different or better way to do something. So I was talking to someone today. It's like all new ideas aren't good, but no new ideas are very bad.
Right.
So, and that applies to every walk of life, I think.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So anyway, so
I had a boss that said if you have 100 ideas and one gets through, you're doing great.
yeah.
But keep having ideas.
But we can't stay where we are.
Right.
Because that's going backwards, right? If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. There's not really a neutral ground there. And well,
it's funny because taking it to this game and we all, the three of us, coach.
yeah.
Different types of coaching. You guys are doing more of a seminar type thing. I'm doing more of a weekly training thing. But you get people come up to you and they'll go, "What's the best way to shoot this stage?" And it's such an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Because what are you shooting? First off, what gun are you shooting?
Yeah.
What are your tendencies? And you start learning that person. And, I've seen people, like 5 to Go is a classic example. There's really 2 ways to shoot it. But there are some people that shoot that thing, what I would consider to be backwards, scary fast.
Yeah.
Can I do it? No. But that doesn't mean it's not right.
Yeah.
It just means I can't do it that way.
It's just not right for you.
Exactly.
Right?
You know.
I think another question that we don't ask enough and on the coaching side is, what score do you want to shoot? I have to train different to shoot a 72 than I do a 92, right? So, I mean, there's certain things we have to consider on the training side is like, so where do you want to get to, you know?
Right.
I mean, if you can run splits A, B, and C, then we're fine. But if you want to get to a different point, then we got to change A, B, and C. So I think that has some aspect, too. If that,
I tell you, one of the things that I did for a lot of... Oh, there's KC!
Hey, the legend.
There's Casey and Jesse. We're doing the podcast.
I need to get my seat
guys.
up. We need to get these guys in. So I'm
well, they're shooting. They're shooting today.
Oh, okay.
You got what? You done 3 stages?
Yeah, we've done
3,
three.
5. All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
You know what? I think if you ask just about any shooter when they come to you, you know, what's your goal? Oh, I want to be a GM. Okay. Well, that can be the long-term goal. Where are you now? You know, and one of the things I've been telling my shooters is, okay, how many shots in the match you're going to shoot? It's a 4-stage match. You're going to shoot 100 shots. Okay, guess what?
100.
25 shots per stage, 4-stage match, 4 times.
You got to factor in my misses, Jeff. I mean, I'm starting at 150, baby.
Yeah, it looked like 165.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
See, this is
playing a different game.
This is not
We
right or
weren't
wrong.
squatted together, were we, Jeff?
This is not right or wrong. This is just the differing views we
There
have.
you go.
We open up the views to everybody, but I tell them, I said, you know what? You got 105 bullets. You got 105 bullets. Make them count. And if you go slow, well, you got to go fast, but you can't go too fast.
There's a line.
And you know, you start realizing, they start realizing what they can do and what they can't do, and then you start focusing on, okay, how do I get that can't into can? You know, and I'm big on every stage. I'm big on twisting at the hips and knees. Biggest muscles, fastest twist, easiest stop. And I've seen so many people out here, showdown, roundabout, perfect examples. It's all shoulders. And it's like, you could be faster and more consistent if, you know, because I focus on form. Because I think if you have the right form, and then you just apply that to go faster and faster and faster. I saw a video you were doing with, you just posted, he did a 1.5 on 5 to go.
Was probably Caleb.
Caleb?
Yeah, 151 or something.
Yeah.
And it was blown. I was blown away because it was like one of the first videos I've seen where like you could tell the gun never stopped.
Yeah.
And that's where we're getting to. You know, for the newer shooters, it's move, stop, shoot.
Yeah.
And then you start speeding up, move, and stop, and then it's like move, kind of stop.
It's like I think it's excel, decel, excel, decel,
Yeah.
excel, decel, right?
Yeah.
And
So-
it's kind of cool, man. I haven't been around this very long, but I don't know how many world records were set Friday, but it was a bunch of them. It was,
Well, I know
was
the
nutty.
one for sure. I saw Lance set a new one in Outer Limits on RO or PCCO.
It was like an 8 something.
830 something.
That's nasty.
It's like
yeah, I think
nasty.
he had a 4 something roundabout too,
Yeah.
like a not a super high 4.
yeah.
Like 460 ish.
Yeah. Well, we'll be. It's funny because somebody said last year they were disappointed that there weren't as many world records broken, and I'm like, there is a lower limit we're going to approach. There's never going to be a 2-second for the stage smoke and hope. There is a limit.
I think, I didn't check the numbers, but I think Jesse set 10 PCC Friday.
Really?
World
Yeah.
records. I'm sure some of those didn't hold up
Well,
because Lance had some great
again,
times with his
Oh, for
PCC.
sure.
But there was like 3 like sub 63 and a half PCCs. That's
well,
crazy.
I jokingly said I want Jesse and Lance and Adam I want a blood test done because if it comes back WD-40, they're robots.
Well, Adams will definitely come back WD-40.
Just so prick his right finger.
Yeah, I don't know about the other two, but yeah, there's some WD-40 in Mr. Renault. We got to shoot with him yesterday.
Yeah.
He is a blast. We had a great squad.
Adam walked up to the line with a can of WD-40. I'm like, sir, what are you doing with that?
Yeah. Well, I saw
He took a drink.
I saw him this morning up on the practice base, and I'm like, oh, I'm Adam Renault. Last year I shot a 69.21 and won RFPI, so I just did it again this year.
Yeah.
He shot the exact same
time.
Is that crazy?
Exact same time.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Brad, let me ask you this. You've been in the sport for the last couple of years. So when you look at, because this is a Steel Target Paint podcast, what does Steel Target Paint mean to you, and what do you think it represents in the sport since you've been in it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there's a lot of answers. I think first off, the product. And, all of us go to our local matches and we get those cans of water, and we go out there and we take 15 minutes trying to paint it and you still can't tell if you touched it or not. So I think first off, it's, the product is just different, and it's, you could tell that it's designed to do what it's designed to do, which is cover steel paint targets, right? You cover these steel targets that's been hit easily with one little squirt. You don't have to use the whole can and spray the whole plate. So the product is the one side of it. But I think that really, for me, the bigger side of it is the people that represent the product. It's, trying to support the kids, trying to help people. We have so many conversations, Steve, just about trying to put our best foot forward because people are watching, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's, what Larry has done to help the sport grow, and his passion getting you guys involved and just representing the game we all have a passion for the right way, so that people want to be involved with, they feel included, they feel appreciated. No one is better than another because of our score. It's just, we're all on the same level when it comes to the level of importance and accountability and that stuff. And I just think Steel Target Paint, that's what I think of. I don't really think of the paint or the product, even though the product's fabulous. It's the people that's behind it. And so
Sure.
I think that's fair and pretty accurate. I think most people would say that.
I agree. I wish we could get Larry to say hi.
So, Larry, about...
Okay, that's all you're going to get out of Larry today, people.
It's hard to get a word in with you, Jeff. I'll tell you that.
Let's pull his mic. Oh, malfunction.
Hey, no.
Brian has technology.
Mute me. You'll still hear me. Okay. I have the power over muting.
So, Larry, how long... Okay, when you came up with this mad scientist idea, you were shooting cowboy action. You said, hey, this paint's a bunch of crap, so I need to make something better. How long ago was that? About 10 years ago?
In late 2015.
2015, so 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine Steel Target Paint would be what it is today with the team and the product and all that kind of stuff?
Not in a million years would I have thought that it was going to be this.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I appreciate the feedback on that and the perspective that you gave on it, because and as we've talked many times, the team itself and I go back to the day that we gave Jeff his jersey at the Nationals. What was that in 17?
Yeah.
I wish we could.
He ripped his shirt off. I wish we'd have had a video of
No!
that. In front of
For the
everyone.
love
He
of
ripped
God,
his
no.
shirt off and put
Some
his
things we
jersey
don't
on.
want to see, Larry.
I know.
That's still
can't
burned in
unsee
my
it, yeah.
mind.
We can do the before and after, but the change of it we'd like to miss.
Some things you just can't unsee.
Shielding kids' eyes. It was horrible. I remember like it was yesterday.
So,
South River Gun Club.
The point in bringing that up was the excitement in him, and it was, indicative of this sport and people wanting to be a part of, and recognizing that being on the team really means something.
Yeah.
And our expectation, really, in the conversations that we have before we, agree to have someone on our Tier 1 team, is that they meet the requirements that we talk about with, one, it's a family sport. There's brand ambassadorship that we look for, and a media presence, and what they bring to the table, and then what can we do for them to help them grow as a competitor. That's important. for us as well. But
hey, Brad, I'm sorry, Larry. I'm gonna ask you to step up because we've got another Steel Target Paint team member.
Brad, thank you so much,
in
brother.
here.
Hey,
it was good seeing
we
you
got
guys.
2 of them.
Best of luck.
And we're bringing them in.
all the way
Okay.
from California.
Yeah. We've got coast to coast representation here on the team.
We're on our way down to Outer Limits.
Well,
y'all
you're gonna stop here and say hi quickly, everybody. Everybody, welcome to the podcast, Kirk Grimes.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Kurt, the Godfather.
The Godfather has arrived.
Hey, baby. We got Maria, too.
Painter extraordinaire, base pad manufacturer extraordinaire. What else don't you do? I mean, it's,
Shoot.
Very well, anyway.
Can run the hell out of the match, but
So, we're just finished up Accelerator on our way down to Outer Limits, so figured I'd pop in. Maria's here. We're shooting this morning
Maria,
and this
come
afternoon.
here. Say, okay, everybody, guess what? I'm going to get off for a second.
Oh,
I'm going to let
thank
Maria
God.
handle
Oh,
it.
my goodness.
Come here, say hi.
we would have invited Maria a lot sooner if we knew.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, Maria. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. How are you shooting today?
Okay.
Good.
Okay. No train wrecks yet, so it's good.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
there's, There's 5 more stages.
Right,
for all
There's
that.
always time. So it's kind of
Notice
funny
her
to
bracelet. Look at that.
see the
Make
other
that- I
side
bet
of
you
the
made that, didn't
podcast.
That's right.
you? Look at that.
You got something.
what's it feel to have Maria and Kirk with you all the way from California, your team?
Well, it's always a blessing to have them come all the way from California wearing their jerseys, and they just got brand new ones too. By
Yeah,
the way,
absolutely.
They look great. But they're family, you know. We miss them when they're gone, and always look forward to seeing you when you come back. And I really do plan to come to Area 2 again.
We hope so. We hope
We
so.
hope so. It's going to be a good match.
Talk about the best match ever is that Area 2 match. It's awesome.
It's exceptional. It really is.
Well done.
Well, thank you.
Maria does a great job.
Yeah,
Well,
Maria
thank
does
you.
a
We
really
do
good
know.
job.
We do know that Kurt tries to take credit for your planning and organization. We
I
get
don't know.
it.
I think I heard Steve Foster say one day,
Oh shit!
Kurt's the box, Maria's the glue that holds it together.
That's those words did come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I know. I hear about them all the time. So, but no, it's a group effort. It's not just her and I.
Sure.
We've got a pretty good team, and we try to put on the best show possible for the shooters. And we try to give it a party atmosphere. I know Jeff does a good job with his. And it's just, what I'm hopeful as a match director for is to have the other match directors kind of follow and take some of the ideas that Jeff does. We do. Mississippi did a good job last year. And, make it more of an event rather than just a show up, shoot, and scoot thing. So,
Yep.
But we probably got to get I'm up second. So
Okay.
we'll stop back by if we come back by and you guys are still flapping.
Sounds
I know
good.
Jeff will still be talking.
It was good seeing you guys.
It's good seeing you. Good luck the rest of the day.
Bye, Jeff.
Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, I feel better. She gave me my microphone back. I was going
he
into
was having
DTs there. That was great, and he's. I like what Kurt said about making it an event and making it about the shooters. As a match director, that's what you're really looking to do. One of the things that I think we're going to try to do, I don't know if it'll fly as well in February in Florida, is to kind of have that. Like maybe that ice cream social type of thing going on. We're always looking for ideas. The Wyoming Antelope Club has a new clubhouse manager who is a good friend, and we're looking to do some different things with regards to what we're going to feed people and how we're going to manage that. And again, turn it more into an event instead of it just a shoot and scoot.
Yeah.
And that's what makes last year's West Florida was the biggest one we ever had.
Yeah.
And 271 guns. And it's going to be really difficult to break that. And I'm not going to be upset if we don't break it, but I want however many people come next year, I want the 4 shirts out of their mouth. I can't wait for next year's.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the best thing you can hear as a match director.
Yep.
So, well, I don't see anybody else in here. I know I've said this to Larry many times, and I thank you for your support of the team, the podcast, the community. It's as I get older, I realize what friendships and things of that mean, and I don't consider this just being on a team. I consider you guys great friends. Now we have a new entry, straggler coming into the podcast booth.
I'm kind of playing producer, going to grab guests while I'm not selling stuff. So I wanted to go grab Terry from Make Ready
Tables.
Shooter Table. So here you go.
Terry, how are you?
What's up,
Awesome.
TJ? How's
Thanks,
it going,
Brian.
brother?
Oh, it's going great. Great weather. Couldn't ask for better weather to shoot in out here, right?
That's right. So tell everybody what kind of crazy idea you and Becca had here a year or two ago.
So when we started in this, of course, our boys were 10 and 12. And anytime you have a young person with a gun, you're nervous anyway.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially when you spend a lot of money on them.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going out.
Are you talking about the guns or the kids or what? Both?
Guns, kids, wife, traveling the whole way. So, and y'all know, you guys have been in this a lot longer than we have, but you go out to a lot of ranges, and some of the equipment is just kind of minimal, right? So
You might get a barrel.
Tables are one of those things.
Everybody's got a barrel at a range.
Yeah.
And you know what was interesting? I'll go back in time. Some of the early videos you see with the Steel Challenge online and stuff, there's literally just a chair there, and it was all center fire at that time. Everybody's holstering their guns. They have range bags. They have things with them, but set it in the chair, set it on the ground. So it's interesting to see how that progressed through what we have now. And part of this, they say necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily true. It's really laziness. And I'll attribute that to my laziness. And it may be some of Larry's fault because the paint's always on the ground when I went to get it. I'm like, I got to do something. I'm tired of bending over picking up all this paint. So.
Yeah.
But kind of started with that. The local range that we shoot at are great folks, and they allowed me to come up with these original contraptions, put them on the barrels. They've been out there this whole time. We started traveling around, showing folks. People liked them, and it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, I remember last year I think it was this World Speed Shoot last year. I stopped by and I was like, what on earth are those? And so had an opportunity to meet you and your family and Becca, and ended up taking a couple home. And I'm like, hey, do I need to take these things in and out? And, Becca's like, no, you don't. You can just leave them out on the range. And I'm like, yeah, okay. It's Georgia, right? It gets kind of hot. So I've left them out for the last 365 days, and they look there's a little bit of, Georgia clay and pollen and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Some spent brass casings of those, but they're just as nice as they are, a year ago. So
Well, you've got a
great product,
and you've got a couple of different styles now. I know
Hang on. Just to clarify, that is at my home range, Jeff.
Really?
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Hey, TJ, did you know I got a home range?
I did, yes.
Okay, all right, just checking. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Steve, do you know that part of your home range is in my van? For those, go back and listen to the episode where I got my Weiland chassis and I got a special treat with a vial of Steve Foster range dirt.
I just can't believe we've made it 28 minutes in the podcast and it took me this long to put it out there.
But yeah, you've got a couple of different styles.
We do. Originally, the first idea was to have some sort of a buffer, a little back on it, keep things from going over the edge.
Sure.
And
That probably works best in Steel Challenge.
it does when you're sitting beside the barrel. And then for me, shooting over the barrel, even that, because you lay everything out, and I'm clumsy and I could knock things off. Friends of ours do a lot of Glock matches, and they always shoot over a barrel. And said, could you do something that was flat? We'd really like to have something that was flat, but still have the places to put your mags and ammo and things. So that's kind of how that was born. We did a survey. Unfortunately for me, people wanted both, so now I have to produce both.
I'd like to jump in on that real quick because you said something a minute ago that is really how steel target paint came to be, and something my dad kind of coined: find a need and fill it. And that's what you did with your product. you saw a need and you came up with a product to fill the need, and I think that's an awesome entrepreneurial. Yet another thing that came into this out of Steel Challenge, really. I mean, that the birth of Hunter's HD Gold and your product and my product, and I'm looking at a picture of Haker over there and Tandem Cross. How much has come from the development of new products in the sport, just this sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
You're exactly right. There's a lot of innovation, and it's in today's day and times, you think of innovation as very technical and high-tech stuff, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be something as simple as a plastic top to just help people out, a paint that's easy to use, and you can actually clean it off your clothes and your glasses and do that, and then, of course,
with your knuckle towels.
Steve comes up with. This guy's got lots of good products, he's coming out with, and I think Case attributed that to making master with his pistol.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, speaking of the now we're going to call him world famous Steve Foster grips. I have him on both my RFPI and my RFPO, and I shot some of the best matches I've ever shot with those grips on my guns, and they're amazing. And I remember the conversation I had with Steve on those, and I'm like, a Magwell? And realize I cut my teeth in USPSA. So a Magwell is on a gun because you want to do a better reload.
Right.
Direct that. And I'm going, so to me, it's always been that's why you have a Magwell on a gun. And I'm like, I don't need to do a fast reload. And, if I'm doing a reload in Steel Challenge, you're getting the worst compliment ever. Nice reload. And so Steve and I talked, and he's like, yeah, for some people with bigger hands, it's going to fit and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's Steve, I'm going to buy one. And I buy one and I put it on there. And it was the balance that it provided for me. And I don't have big hands, so it's not like I'm squeezing in on the thing, but the balance it provided and centering that little bit of extra weight was amazing. And so,
well,
and again,
a good
that was
purchase
not
on the gun too. I mean, you get a great purchase on the gun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Steve, share with us that wasn't an overnight success.
No, it's so. At first, I didn't know how to take it. The first couple I sent out to a couple folks that I respect and trust, and the comment I got was, "Oh my God, Steve, these things are awesome." I'm like, "So what did you expect? Did you not think they were going to be awesome?" But no, the time and effort and feedback and that went into that, and next weekend at Metal Madness Homecoming, I'm going to debut my new Falcon 2 compensator.
Yep.
So I got them back from the anodizer yesterday. So so I'm going to debut those there.
Well, you're never resting because you in between the debut of the Falcon next week and the grips, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
You've got your new base pads. I
do. I've got new base pads that stick out about 3/4 of an inch or so you don't have to reach up into the mag well. They're it's still a factory 10-round base pad, so it's not an extended base pad for capacity, but it sticks out the bottom of the mag well, and boy, those things are couldn't be happier with those. I got a couple of other projects in the works, but in between all that, I like a slightly heavier gun. Everybody's been pushing, light. The aluminum grips and magwell add a few ounces right in your hand, and I've got two prototype solid brass grips and magwell, so it brings my custom Volquartsen Tandem Cross Mamba X iron sight that they never made besides 4 of them, and I've got 2 out of the 4. My Flame Job anodized gun has the brass grips and magwells, so it brings the gun up to about 46, 47 ounces, and everybody picks it up, goes, boy, this is kind of heavy, and then they transition the gun, they go, oh my God, I need some of these.
Yeah.
But solid brass is pretty expensive, so I've got a small waiting list for people that want those, but I can't be happier, and appreciate and value my relationship with Tandem Cross. They've helped distribute it under their name, the Tempest grips and magwells, and of course I offer them on my custom guns. But that product, it took a long time to come to fruition, had the idea probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. I do shoot for CWA, and kind of my passion went towards the 2011. And at some point, maybe we'll make something similar for the 2011. We'll see. But just want something to help younger shooters and folks that are getting in the game that can't spend $1,500 or $2,500 on a gun to get something that works for them, that adds a custom touch and very functional. Of course, they look badass.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah, so there's a lot of time and effort that goes into developing a product like that, because especially when you got hundreds and hundreds of them out there, you want to make sure that that it is of the top utmost quality. You know, it's no modifications to a gun, that kind of thing. And do you know how many grips and magwells I've had returned or people say that didn't like them?
0.
Not a single one.
Yeah.
So very proud of that. Very proud of that.
It's not surprising. I mean, I've probably got at least 6 or 7 people that I've directed.
And I appreciate that. Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Because
got an email this morning.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
I did.
So, they'll be shooting their gun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and of course I can look at it and go, oh, that's a Mark IV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have you heard about these grips?
Yep.
And then they grab them and they're like, where do I get them?
The part that people don't understand is that how long it takes to make that type of texture, the right texture, because some people in USPSA love a very aggressive, cut your hand type aggressive texture.
Barbed wire grip.
No, that's just not me. I don't have delicate, sensitive hands. These are working man hands right here, but maybe not that hard. But DJ's looking at me like, what are you talking about, Steve?
But it looks like a good manicure you got going on there.
That's gunpowder, sir. But to get that right blend of something that's aggressive enough in your hand that it feels like that it's just going to sit there, but yet you can spend all day in the range and shoot it and not have cuts on your hands, those types of things.
Absolutely.
So they're really designed for, and that was part of the trick of how do you make everybody happy and how do you make this premium product? Then how do you fit smaller hands? How do you fit bigger hands? And there's a lot of design things that are, and I'll share this one secret sauce, if you will. That's why on the back of the magwell it's relatively straight, because if you have huge hands, and the guy that was just in here, Brad Jeffers, he's got, you can tell him I said this, abnormally large hands. But what happens is he doesn't like magwells because it always just cramps his hand up. But that's why the back of the magwell is straight. So so it lets the hand come down just a little bit. So
see, they're just little things like that. And what's great is, again, filling that need.
Yeah.
But what you developed was because you're a shooter. You have those bases.
Yeah.
I mean, what Terry was able to put together is he looked at it and he goes, okay, well, it's not just going to be a plastic tabletop. It's got to be functional.
Yeah.
And when you look at what it's got, we're getting a little rain today. I was up at every bay up in the practice space has got a make-ready shooter table on it.
Yep. And
now, granted, stuff's going to get wet. It's going to rain. Stuff's going to get wet. But there's drain areas. So there wasn't a lake or a small pond on each one of those tables.
Yeah.
And literally, I just went up and tipped the table over, ran it up, wiped it down with a cloth, and I could put my gun down and it's not getting wet. And, that's something that is very interesting when you look at, like, where we shoot, where we have wooden tables and they get wet. No matter how much you wipe off the surface wetness, it's soaked in.
Yep.
So this is something where I've talked with Terry, his wife, and talking about the possibility of doing it at our range. I just have to figure out, because I don't control the finances.
Yeah, sure.
But to be able to do something like that, because again, you look at it and you go, it fits the need of our game. Yeah. There's always going to be a table there.
And it's designed that too, right? You got drain holes in your tabletops, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And it's we've had one complaint that our tabletops got wet when it rained. I told her, I would try to engineer something away from that, but I'm pretty sure, that's universal.
It's the new make ready shooter table tent.
There you go. Yeah, we'll do.
If you fix that, start with the whack, please. Yeah. Jeff always says, "Hey, Steve, come down. It's not going to rain this time." Every single time. Every single time. Right, Brian?
We try to.
Here and it's raining now.
Brought it with him.
Maybe it's me.
No, it's this is outdoor sport, right? So everything has to be durable. The plastic is HDP, it's high density polyethylene. Same thing the barrels are made out of. So it's going to last, outside like that. Heat, there's not a whole lot you can do about heat either. Weather is weather, so heat affects everything and everything will move. But it's still going to be durable like that. It's, outdoor play equipment, things like that, are made out of that material. So it's it's a little more expensive, but for something that's going to last and going to be there, it's going to be durable. It's going to hold up. So.
Sounds good.
But the cool part, though, is that, a lot of these types of products, there's a lot of intentional design involved in it. We're talking about the tables and how they function and, the little area that I love to put my mags in and stuff like that. But even, on days like today, what kind of paint would we be using if it wasn't steel target paint? Because a lot of that other stuff doesn't work in the rain, and steel target paint works in the rain and those kind of things. So I'm not sure if the average consumer really understands the amount of time, energy, and effort into designing the products that are available out on the market. I know Brian didn't spend any time doing any sort of research.
Oh, not at all. He just threw it together.
Hunter's HD Ruby as an example.
No, I disagree. You should have seen what we did at the farm with his glasses and the shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we had this styrofoam head that we put these Hunter's HD Gold glasses on.
I need some disclaimers.
All right, I'm back. We need some disclaimers here. Continue, Larry.
And then, now this is real live product development work. I'm talking in the field. You don't want to get shot in the face with a shotgun. But if you do, your eyes are going to be okay.
The rest of your face is not going to be in good shape. But yeah, we went through a lot. We shot a lot of lenses, and it wasn't to see if they were going to impact and we're not looking for something that's going to stop a bullet or stop a pellet. We're looking at something that's going to ricochet and not shatter and not do a lot of other things that other lenses are prone to do. And it was a lot because I was doing this, we were like, well, this is on Instagram. They're doing it here. Why can't we do it? And I'm like going, okay, I'm figuring out everything on the internet's not true. So
go on, tell me more.
But we did. We went through. It was funny because we did some, and sometimes we had a certain frame and the lens would come out, and I'm running around looking at the ground everywhere trying to find the lens, and the lens is good, and it's like, all right, are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? So there's no video of this, of course. No evidence. People thinking that was the case. But, yes, we did a lot of research. And same thing with what y'all are doing. And I just want to take a moment to get back on real quick and say thank you for your 100th episode. What you do when I'm traveling from, one side of the United States to the other, and I've got both of y'all in the back seat talking for a good hour, weekly, means a lot to me because it is, there's a lot of lonely times on the road where you don't know what's going on. And to have a friendly voice in the shooting world of podcasts, and you're looking over trying to tell Jeff to shut up for a second. Steve's trying to say something, and the podcast is over. Steve, would you finish that story that Jeff didn't let you finish? And we have another conversation for another 20 minutes after the show's over. But no, it means a lot. And 100 episodes is podcasts usually only last an average of 2 or 3 years, and they do less than 30 episodes. They don't make it. So what you've done is a huge milestone. And for Larry to get behind that and give you the freedom with his brand, he still needs medication, I believe. But I think he'll be fine in the long run. But, I mean, what y'all are doing is an amazing thing and bringing a lot of people into the shooting sports because you keep it simple.
Yeah.
Anybody who's an experience can listen to your show and understand about the numbers that are being called out and all this other stuff. And somebody who just picks up your show for the first time doesn't have any idea what all these numbers are. They still enjoy a good, entertaining show of what's going on, and they want to learn more.
Yeah.
So congratulations to both of y'all.
Thanks,
you.
Brian. Appreciate
that.
it.
The what you said there at the end, the entertaining. Mm-hmm. So when Steve and I talked before doing this, we've both been coaches for a long time.
Right.
But we both said somebody may pick up a tip we might share a tip.
All right.
But the podcast is not meant to be a training podcast.
And that's what I want, the pre-show that y'all don't release.
Oh, no, you don't.
I want that to myself so I can actually, that get me all the way to California to Area 2 this year. I know. There's so much unaired stuff I've got to have.
all I will say is this one time we had Mike Foley on a couple times, and he said, "Hey, you guys not recording?" And Jeff's like, "No, we're not." And he's like, "You sure?" And Jeff's like, "Yeah." That would have been the best 20 minutes of audio ever released on it. Now, we've been pretty fortunate to have a lot of support from, certainly the people sitting here in the tent, USPSA, all the other organizations. No, it's just been really humbling. The coolest part, though, that I find about the podcast is the people that just walk up to you like,
Yes.
It is so weird to see your face because I know that voice. And
You're not what I thought you was going to look like.
I'm not sure how to take that. That's right. So
No, but
Well, it's an
making it.
international show too, buddy. I mean, they got people from all over the world listening in on this one.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have been for a while. And I looked back a minute ago. The first episode was July of 2018.
2018.
So
July
6,
2018.
coming up on 6 years.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I got a little something for you, buddy, to commemorate. Now, you said some really cool things a while ago about my support and,
Absolutely.
and all that. You were almost on the verge of tears. I'm going to see if I can push you over the edge and present you with this
What?
very special piece
Oh
of
my
equipment.
gosh!
Open
It's
that up.
a
Open that
it's a
up.
Raven Crest tactical knife, and it's engraved with the Steel Target Paint logo.
That's the 100th episode edition of Steel Target Paint.
Oh my! Yeah.
Now, I-
Stand up, Larry.
Yeah.
This
Bring
is
it in,
not a
buddy.
handshake. This
I
is a
know,
hug.
buddy.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, yes. As I get older, I'm a crier.
That's good.
And my students did it to me at West Florida with their shirts and stuff they did. But wow, thank you
I'm
so
happy
much.
to, and it's really cool to really have made it this far on this podcast. Honestly, I'm blown away by it.
You know what? I will. To me, it's because we never tried to monetize it. It was never a job. It was always fun, and that's something
Yeah.
Steve and I talked about from the very beginning. Let's have fun. Let's have people who come on and have fun. And we've had some great discussions. We've had some top shooters. In all venues. Not just rimfire, not just PCC, not just rifle, not just centerfire. We've all over the place. We've had some good top named industry people, but it's always been about fun. And what we were just doing here, laughing.
Yep.
Laughing and joking and having fun. I'll be honest with you, I have that bumper sticker on the back of my van.
I saw it this morning.
It's still there.
I
It's
love
still
it.
there.
I love it.
Hey Jeff, do you know Steve has a home range?
There's one sitting right over there.
Yes,
on this.
there's two. Yep. There's one here on the back of Brian's lens holders. I love that, and I love when people come up and joke with me about that
Yep.
because it means they're listening, and it means they're having fun.
Yep, for sure.
And I'm okay. I'm okay with joking like that because it's been great. It's been a wonderful trip, and you know what? I'm looking forward to 101.
Yeah,
and going forward
Beyond, sure.
because I see no end in this. I mean, you don't understand, and it works both ways. We might go a couple of weeks, and Steve will call me and go, "Hey, we need to do a podcast," or I might call him and go, "Hey, we need to do a podcast." It works both ways.
Yep.
And like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know.
It always comes up.
And
Yesterday, Brian and I were talking about how many new people are coming in. But, there's always people coming and going. And,
There is.
And then the new people coming in, like yesterday, we met Tristan
Krause?
from Canada.
From Canada.
Oh,
Tristan from Canada.
he's on their national shotgun team.
Yeah.
Yeah, sponsored by Perazzi. So,
Yeah.
what a great guy and an excellent shooter. He set some awesome times with a 8-pound PCC. I think it was a 64 something. I mean,
Yeah,
right
with
out
his
of the gate.
PCCO, yeah.
Anyway, a nice guy. interested in being a dealer for Steel Target Paint in Canada, by the way. He's got a business up there where he's selling product into the shooting industry, but he'd be another guy to get involved because they're heavily involved in working to get Steel Challenge represented in Canada.
Well, they've had 2 Canadian nationals so far. Last year,
he's a big part of
last year and this year, and I think that's great. And in fact, being part of the Steel Challenge committee, when we go through and do the slot policy, the Canadian nationals, you can actually earn a slot 2 worlds from the Canadian nationals.
That's cool.
So
That's
we
awesome.
we consider that at the same level as an area match, and so we do that. And that slot policy was something huge. It was a little. It definitely eased the psychosis of the match opening.
Yeah.
There weren't 690 guns that needed to be registered. There was only about 400 that needed to be registered. Okay, now, I'm going to put my hand over my mic. You're all still going to hear me, but I saw another Steel Target team member stick her head in here. Randall, get over here.
Shooting Gigi.
The Shooting Gigi.
Thanks, CJ. It was good seeing you, brother.
Thanks, Terry. There she is. Get in here. There we go. Come have a seat.
Gigi.
Come on in.
Okay.
Come on in.
Ladies and gentlemen, first time on a podcast, Randall Miller, the Shooting Gigi. How you doing, Randall?
Hey, I'm good. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi.
Yeah.
You shooting this morning?
No, this afternoon.
Yay.
Yay.
If she was shooting this morning, she wouldn't be here.
Well, we had some folks that stopped on by.
Well,
well,
they
gotta
did.
get out of the
Jesse
rain,
and
too.
Casey did pop their head in.
That's true. Kurt and Maria
Kurt
did.
and Maria did too. Yeah.
All right, so I saw online yesterday you matched your nail polish to your Steel Target Paint
I do.
jersey
I
and
do,
visor.
I do.
Oh,
Color
that's-
coordination is
That's
the key
just
to
fabulous.
good shooting.
That is just
Yeah.
fabulous.
Shoot faster.
It will. It'll make me shoot so much faster.
Jeff, I think you need to do better, sir.
The socks are no longer good enough. It's time.
You got to have your nails
I'm
done.
now gonna have. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, Brian, she matched her nails to your frame. That's exactly what happened.
So,
Thank you. I tried.
how many guns you shooting this match?
I'm shooting 3.
3
I'll
guns.
have 2 this afternoon and 1 tomorrow afternoon.
Well, tomorrow afternoon, great.
Yes.
And are you sticking around for awards?
I am.
Fantastic.
I am.
We had the last couple have been great, and hopefully this year is going to be just as well.
Yes, I show up just to hear the MC. Do the awards.
They didn't find a better MC this year.
Gosh, I know. They
Jeff
didn't,
again?
They didn't look hard enough, did they? No.
They look at the barrel and they go right to the bottom and scrape off me.
There was really a line of people. Everybody stepped back, and Jeff's like, "Hey, why did everybody step back?"
He does not need a microphone. No.
You're not the first person to say that today.
They tried to mute me, and I said it's not going to work.
So, where does the nickname Shooting Gigi come from?
So I have 9 grandkids.
Oh my goodness!
I know. I stay busy. And they all call me Gigi. So my daughter Amanda, who was shooting with me for a little while, said, "You got to be the Shooting Gigi." And I went, "Okay." So she set me up on social media.
Yeah.
So it just kind of took off from there.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
That is so
yeah.
awesome.
We're thrilled to have you on the team.
Thank
and,
you.
Represent all grandmothers out there.
Well, here's my slogan: You're never too old to learn a new trick.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I started 4 years ago, and I've come a long way.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
So
it's
and before that, I didn't
very
even
good.
shoot anything. I never shot a
That's
pistol before
amazing.
then.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So
Let me just add that we were both at one time in the senior category, and I was glad I wasn't shooting rifles because I didn't want to shoot against you. So, yeah, when you look at your progression, and I definitely a drive. You know, it was you had fun doing it, but you saw that you could get better.
Yes, I'm highly motivated.
Yes.
Very competitive.
Yes.
And
Are you
yes.
really? No, stop it.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, but I know.
Randall, what are you going to do? I'm going to crush them.
I just want to beat the old seniors.
That's
That's why I
right,
want to beat
right.
the old guys. Yes.
Into the ground.
Yes, that was my goal.
You must die.
So, but I'm having so much fun, and want to continue. And I practice a couple times a week,
Awesome.
just to keep my skills. Because the older you are, the things slow down. Your
Yeah,
eyes, your
they do.
reflexes. So, I am working to keep that at a certain level.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
you started 4 years ago, you
June
said?
1st.
June
Today
1st,
was my
today.
first match.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you. With my rifle, I had an iron sight. I had a Thompson center
Yep.
with little
Yep.
peep on the back and the irons.
Yep.
And man, I got video of that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So what got you started? What was the point that said, hey, you know what? I'm going to grab a gun and I'm going to start shooting.
I went to visit my friends Tom and Judy in
Yeah.
Florida, and Tom goes, "We're going to the indoor range. You want to go?" And I went, "Sure." So he put a pistol as a buck mark in my hand,
Really?
never shot it. And he said, "Aim for that." He goes, "How'd you do that?" I said, "How did I do what?" He said, "You hit the center." And I said, "Wasn't I supposed to?" And he said, "Yeah, but not the first time." So he's like, "You got to keep this up." So I kept it up. So I had a friend in Raleigh who had some guns let me borrow. We'd go shooting, and as soon as it jammed, I'd go, "Here, take it. I don't know what to do." And so he'd say, "Drop the mag, rack it." So, slowly I learned. So like I said, I've come from nothing all the way to, where I am now, Grandmaster.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
so I
And
just
by
love
next-
it. I love it.
By next year, same thing in pistol.
Okay.
We're going to work together.
I got 0.2 seconds to get to Grandmaster.
We'll get you there.
Okay, good, thank you.
Because we've talked about working
I
working
know,
together
I
on
know,
pistol.
yes.
When you came down to West Florida, we were gonna train after the match, and then the rain came, and
you
then I was
said,
a big
"No,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah, Steve, come on down to West Florida. It's not going to rain this year. Nope.
Yep,
Nope, not happening.
No.
Yeah, I remember the first time that we trained together. What was that, 2 years ago?
It's January 21.
Holy cow, 3 years ago.
Yes.
I remember, Jeff, she came out on the range, and I think I'd seen you shoot before, and I was like, holy cow. She shot this Thompson centerfire iron sight rifle. I was like, oh, okay, we can work with this. And, yeah, she's exceptional.
That was my first rifle. I still have it. I can't
Do
give
you?
that up.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
my,
no.
it's my baby.
Exceptional.
I just stays in the safe. But
Yeah, we're really proud to have some exceptional shooters on the Steel Target Paint shooting team, because I get that question all the time, being the captain. Hey, what does it take to get on the team? And I'm going to be a world-class shooter. Blah blah. I think that we look for great people that plan to be around in the sport, and if you happen to be a great shooter, that's just an added plus. And
Right.
yeah, Randall's definitely the epitome of what we look for in the
most
Steel Target
definitely.
Paint shooting team for sure.
I think it was Volusia where we first met. You weren't
Yes.
you weren't on the team yet,
yes.
but it was just
Yeah.
we just started talking,
Yeah,
and it was like we were old friends.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the kind of person that you want to be on the team.
That's exactly right.
Okay, maybe I overemphasize or overcommit to outgoingness.
No.
I don't even think he's aware of it. I'm not even aware of it.
That's
but
the first step, isn't it?
but
Knowing you got a problem.
I think you look at a lot of the people that are on the team, and they're approachable.
Yeah.
And you can shake their hand. You can go up and talk to them and say hi and shake their hand and how you doing, and they're genuinely interested.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names, and I try to remember everybody's name, and I'm always looking at their shirt instead of their eyes to find out if they've got a name on their shirt.
I know. That's you, Brian. I know.
But that doesn't mean I don't care. I mean, just because I can't remember your name, and it's. You know how many times like, oh, it's nice to meet you. We met last year. Oh, sorry.
This is a funny story. So there's a guy, Ryan Phillips, met him, I don't know, over here at one of the local matches, and so he needed help with a gun and all that. So I took care of him. And yesterday, I said, hey, I'm over at blah blah blah. He said, yeah, I just saw you shoot. I'm like, I didn't recognize him in civilian clothes. He didn't have a hat on. I'm like, I assumed you had hair under that hat. Sorry, Ryan. I love you, brother. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those things that sometimes you don't see people, and, Jeff's always wearing a hat, and sometimes with blonde hair, sometimes not.
That's true. That's true.
All right, we're all friends. Do you think that's a kidnapper van he's got or what?
It does look like one, doesn't it?
So we were down at the West Florida match a couple of years ago. I think right when he got his van, he says, "Hey, I got my award for you, Steve," or something like that. I went in the van. And on the dash, there's this hat with this blonde hair. I walked out and said, "Jeff, please explain." True story.
Yeah.
True story. I didn't
So-
see the signs either.
Yesterday, packing up, and I'm taking my time, and in the parking lot are the Krauses.
Yep.
And Bratcher's junior was there, and senior, and all that. And so, I'm joking around with the kids. And I'm like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, I find 4 kids that are less than 60. I'm like, "I'm still older than all you put together, right?" And so Lance Senior goes, "If Jeff offers you candy, don't get in the van." And I turn around and I say, "Yeah, but if I offer him a timer, you're going to give up a kid."
Those AMGs are hot out of the street, that's for sure.
Yep. Well, they were named the official timer of the USPSA and Steel Challenge Shooting Association. So, here at the match, I brought 50 sidekicks, which are the small timers that do virtually everything the full size does. It doesn't have Bluetooth.
Does not have Bluetooth.
It does have a really cool feature from a dry fire perspective, which is a repeat mode. So you can set it up to repeat how you've set it up X number of times, which is great, especially when you're doing like pistol, like rimfire pistol or rimfire rifle dry fire. You're not having to unmount to hit a button and then re-grip the gun. And they're, I've sold 15 of them so far. I've got 35 more. I'm going to have them at Area 5 as well. And it's been, I told Alex, I said, "You got to fill orders."
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yep.
I said, "You're the official timer now. Fill those orders."
Yep.
Because people want your product. And they're if you're walking up and down the match here and you're underneath the main canopies, not the canopies where the shooters are, but the main canopies, look up in the front. There's a scoreboard on every bay. So he's represented here with his scoreboards and his timers, and he's putting out some good product. He's just got to make sure he gets it into people's hands, and he's going to do that.
Yep.
And it's going to be great.
Product been developed
Yes.
out of this sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how long have timers been around?
Oh.
Forever.
Yeah.
And I never shot this game when Practice Score didn't exist.
Sure.
But I've heard of the stories of when it didn't exist, and it was paper and Excel spreadsheets and typing and all that kind of stuff. And then Practice Score came around. Again, built out of the necessity of we need some. He thought he could do something better with the exactly. And then, we had Practice Score, and then we had timers for the longest time, and then Bluetooth connectivity came around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. And then apps like Practice Score Competitor.
Yep.
So you get a goofball data numbers guy like me that's going in and going, what are my splits? And that. But that's what people want.
And you know what the crazy part is? And I told Alex this, and it's probably the silliest reason to buy the timer. The battery life on those timers, it's like, it's forever, I think so I've got a couple of his timers. Now I'm just flexing on all the poor people out there. I got a couple. I got a scoreboard. Now I got the little one. I got them all.
For those that need timers, go to Steve's Home Range.
Yeah, what's the going rate out on the street? Got to get me some of them timers. $600? I don't know. But anyway, it's the first timer that I had. I think it was over a year, and I use it quite a bit. And I just preventatively changed the batteries, and so no, it's a fantastic product. But I think the Bluetooth connectivity into Practice Score that was the game changer for the timer outside of the functionality and those types of things.
Well, there's another point in that is that Alex was a shooter.
Yeah,
I met Alex at the WAC as a shooter.
Yep.
And he's also an engineer.
Yep.
And then he and he actually did a lot of the decibel checking for his timer testing at the WAC.
You mean the cave?
The cave.
Shooting inside the cave?
Caves.
There's wonder why there's an echo setting. It's because of the whack
Well, it's a gift.
that keeps giving.
Like I said, if there's ever a home field advantage, I have it.
That is, truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah. So, but yeah, again, like you said, Larry, he saw that, and there were timers. Timers existed.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he filled something that wasn't there.
Yeah.
He just improved on
Just a better mousetrap.
Exactly what it is. So, I mean, you look at your grips.
Yeah.
People have had scales for the longest time, and you can get aggressive scales.
Yep.
But when you start putting it all together with the right grip texture and that,
no modifications to the gun, to the this or that. Yep.
Yeah, that's a huge part is that, more and more people are understanding that they need to build stuff that doesn't require gunsmithing to put it on the gun.
And just for clarity, just because you have a Dremel doesn't make you a gunsmith. Jeff Jones. Jeff, did you hear that?
Okay, now that you brought it up, people, we're going to tell the truth. Both of my grips are on Scorpions, and you can make them fit.
And because of Jeff, I've had several people reach out to me and say, hey, this wild animal went to your grips and magwell. It's on Jeff's gun. Can you do that for me? So I'm actually delivering 2 custom sets today. So thank you, Jeff.
Yes, well, it's a gift. Like I said, I'm a gift that just keeps on giving.
So now I need to design one that fits the Scorpion. I love Scott Volkortson, makes amazing products, but why on earth did you make that frame of that gun wider than the stock Mark III or Mark IV? I'm not sure, but anyway.
Yeah, it was a like I said, when I got it, and I knew what I was in for. Steve told me what I was in for. And, it was out in the garage, and he's right. Using a Dremel does not make you a gunsmith, but it does make the grip fit.
Doing it on a mill at home is a little bit easier, but still, there's some custom fitting that has to happen.
Do you have a setting on your mill that says grinding for Jeff?
Oh, my goodness. Because it's just not that diameter.
Right.
It's
There's an angle that you got to.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Because it's still got to fit. So it's tight. Yeah. You don't want anything floppy. Absolutely.
And to make sure that any so this customer sent a couple different base pads. So I'm going to sell him mine at some point. He doesn't know this yet, but so he had to make sure that it fit all the base pads too.
Sure. Yeah, actually, and that's I was very fortunate in that. In both cases for the stock base pads.
Yep.
And then on the other one, that gun has the Volkortson base pads.
Yep.
They fit. I didn't have to do any grinding.
And all that was intentional to make sure that it's certainly I would love to sell people base pads. They're actually pretty expensive to make. People don't understand. Well, yeah, these things should be blah 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 to make. I'm like, look, I've got more than that into them to make and design. And I'm not making 10,000 at a time, or maybe the price come down a little bit, but yeah, they were intentionally designed to take the tandem cross base pads, the Volkortson base pads, and in the factory base pads. So
you had a prototype at the West Florida match.
Yep.
And the one thing I realized is that if you run out of ammo, instead of reloading, just drop the base pad and throw it at the plate. Because it's going to make a good ring if you hit it. So
it's funny.
All right. Well, I think we are. You got somebody here peeking in. Who are you? No. Okay. Don't want to talk to us. Geez, this has been great. Brian, thank you for letting us use the lounge.
Thank you, Shooting GG.
Thank you, CG. It's been phenomenal. It was funny. I will share this story early on when we did one of the podcasts, and Larry was like, you think you could keep it to like 25-30 minutes? I'm like,
I thought about that on the way over here. I was listening to one of the podcasts with Reagan Hearn, and that was good. I like learning about people because you guys get to know folks better when
you know what?
And that's awesome.
We just had somebody pop into the tent. Jesse Misko just popped in. Jesse, you want to join us? Come on in, have a seat. You're going to get to learn about somebody new. All right.
Thank you, Randall. We'll see ya.
Good to see you, Randall.
Welcome to
Good
the
luck
podcast,
today.
Jesse Misko. How you doing today, buddy?
I am doing amazing.
Oh, fantastic. Good to see you here. This is how many worlds for you now?
This is my third.
Third.
Yeah, I shot in 2020 and then skipped a couple. 2023, now 2024.
All right. Well, fantastic. And, for those of anyone that's out like me that is constantly updating practice score competitor going, how's everybody doing? Where am I? Where are my numbers? What am I doing?
Yeah, he's
Jesse,
always
you're,
on the
you're
top.
on you're on the leaderboard in a number of divisions, and you've still got some shooting to do, don't you?
Yeah, pistol open tomorrow, or
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Mm-hmm. So that's fantastic. And what do you, I mean, I've shot at a number of different ranges. You shot around a number of. I mean, you were going to make West Florida, and unfortunately, work got in the way.
Yeah,
so
ended up in Texas.
Is that what he told you? He's probably listened to the podcast a couple times. Like, nah, Steve says I don't want any part of that.
I had flights booked. I had Airbnb booked. I lost money. And I didn't think it was going to match.
How do you like shooting here at this range?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I was actually here for the 8 in the Gate that Carl Sutherland ran this at the first of the month, and that was
a great match, wasn't it?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a big help too to then come back here and shoot
Shoot
again.
the same. I mean,
same exact thing.
Yeah. They couple of years ago they adjusted some of the stages, the presentation in the bays, to you. They're just.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know he wanted them closer to the berms just so it made it look like.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. I mean, roundabout. The layout is the same, but you put roundabout in a 50-yard bay at the end of the bay next to the berms, it's roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
You put it at the mouth of the bay, and you're like, this is weird.
Yeah.
So
it's all perception, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's funny, too, because every year people walk up to Outer Limits, and they go, that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
my range up in Wisconsin that I used to shoot at, the plates were about an inch off the ground, and they were correct.
Yeah. Well, you step
Yep.
in. You say, okay, step in the box, get in your shooting position, close your eyes, get in whatever position you shoot in, open your eyes, and they're like, "It's right." Yeah, I'm like, yeah. The team that sets this up does a great job at making sure they're at the right height, they're in the right position. They did something this year that I've never noticed they did before, is that the showdown plates 2 and 3 are actually canted in. In past years, they've been very square to the both boxes because you're shooting from both boxes. But now they're canted in just slightly, and a lot of that has to do with it minimizing ricochet coming back to the shooter and to the spectators or even the ROs. We do care about them.
Yeah. All about safety, man.
Yeah. So
Jesse, Jeff was saying earlier he wants to, take some blood, make sure you don't have WD-40 or 10W30 in your arm. I don't know. Is that true?
Adam Reno, it'd probably be true.
You were saying that yesterday. Did he walk you through the WD-40 thing?
Yeah.
I love Adam
WD-40
like
on
a
the
brother,
trigger.
but man, I was just shaking my head.
Oh, that's great. I said, you, Lance, and Adam we're doing blood tests. And if it comes back as WD-40, you're robots, and you've been disqualified.
I've been called an alien a couple times.
Yeah, so.
Well, I don't know you like these guys do. Where's your home range at, and where do you come from?
I do not have a home range anymore.
You don't.
I just kind of.
They're all the home range.
The word is called vagabond.
Living out of your car. Are you?
Pretty much. No, I just kind of. I take any chance I can get to go somewhere and practice, make use of all the friends I've made. At this point, I can go to pretty much any match I want to, shoot it. It feels like, at this point, I've been to so many different ranges that going to a new range is no different. I shot Brock's Gap for the first time.
Yeah,
It was
that's cool. Yeah.
Great range, although it's not going to be there
Yeah.
in the same place anymore. But
Yep.
Get this. They're moving close to here. Pell City.
Are they?
Yeah. Yep. The word on the street is that they're going to move that range, and it's going to be here.
Yeah, I heard somebody was saying, Larry, that they sold Brock's Gap already, right?
They did, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a housing development or something. I grew up right there where that range is.
Oh, yeah?
It was just 2 minutes from my house.
But they're making it even better. They're adding I think they said 24 bays, so it's going to be top of the line.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting.
It's interesting too because when you look at many of the ranges that have been around for a long time, they're tweaked to fit.
Yeah.
But when you go, okay, I have land, I can plan, I can set it up how I want it set up for what I'm going to want to shoot it for, whether it's Steel Challenge, USPSA, long range, all that kind of stuff. Instead of making the range fit the needs of the shooting, or once it's down, they're getting to build it. They're getting to plan what it is, and that's pretty cool.
There are some ranges out west because they have a ton of land that you look at and you're like, there are tons and tons of bays. There's long range, short range, shotgun. There's everything you could ever want, and it's just spacious as could be. Oh,
yeah.
I'd love to be near one of those.
Well, this place was developed like that. I mean, they did a good job here.
Yes. Well, we've had that discussion. The bays are nice. Up the hill you've got the practice bays, which are great. There's a couple that you got to. The worst part about the practice bays is somebody's shooting on the other side. I need to wait because I don't want to have someone downrange or be downrange when someone else is shooting. If that's the only thing you got to worry about, and of course, I was up there yesterday with Adam. I'm and we're both standing there, and we were on the one bay where the boxes are even. I think it was Pendulum and Showdown. The boxes are even. And I looked at Adam. I went, okay, you do a mag, I do a mag. You do a mag, I do a mag. And it worked out great. We both got to shoot, and we were done. Went down there, painted them up, got for the next people. It was fantastic.
But Larry, to answer more of your question, I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin, so that's kind of my own stomping ground is from up there. But yeah, I have a lot more opportunity now to kind of see the land.
When did you start shooting?
2019. So right before COVID, when I turned 21, bought a Ruger Mark IV. Before that, I had hardly shotguns. So bought that, wanted to use it somewhere, didn't even know about the sport. I was in college at the time, found practice score, found that there was a range right next to the college I was at, and that's just kind of how it started. They run in Rimfire Challenge, Steel Challenge, so I had it all to begin with.
That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you do shoot primarily Steel Challenge? I know you shoot a lot of Rimfire Challenge, but you shoot a lot of Steel Challenge. What do you like most about Steel Challenge?
I like them both in their own way because Steel Challenge, you can compare your times again and again and again. I can shoot a 50 and I can compare that to 2 years ago when I was shooting a 60. You can see really your development over time. You have something to really compare yourself with. Whereas Rimfire Challenge, the stages are all unique, and that's what I really love about that. Is it's just something different every single time. I don't have to worry about getting in my head with something like one of these stages where you. It's a roller. These stages are a roller coaster. Sometimes Accelerator will be my best stage. Sometimes Roundabout. Sometimes Smoke and Hope. It's you have to jump around. You kind of have to play catch up on every single stage as you lose one.
Yeah, it comes and goes, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah.
So it's funny. I saw Jesse yesterday, and then I was telling him about, I shot a great match and didn't have a great Smoke and Hope. And he said basically the same thing. He's like, you never know what stage is going to get you.
Yeah.
And when you can shoot all 8 and not have anyone get you, that's great. But, it's really funny you say that, Jesse, because I've noticed it over time where, like yesterday, Pendulum was like, no big deal.
Yeah.
It's Pendulum. No big deal.
Recently, 5-1 and Pendulum have been my best stages.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I saw Jeff. I saw Jesse a couple weeks ago at the 8 of the Gate or the match the day before shoot Pendulum. This guy over here was shooting 9 shots in 1.7 seconds on Pendulum. I'm like, how did that just happen? I know that's not where you want to be, but no, you're setting the standard. You are the guy to beat at this match, and congratulations on all your success, man. You've been
for sure
the hard work and effort. I don't think that's what people understand. Let's talk about that for the last year or two. How much time and effort do you put into shooting, whether it's on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? Give the listeners, because they'll see, and people like myself and Jeff that are, I shoot more. Back in the day when I first started, I shot more Rimfire Challenge than Steel Challenge, and Jeff doesn't shoot as much Rimfire Challenge. I think it was 2 years ago when you put 15% quicker, maybe even 20% quicker, somewhere in there, on the second, he won, I think, limited and open by like 15 or 20% against some exceptional shooters. That's why I went, oh boy, good luck, fellas. Good luck with that.
New sheriff in town.
But that doesn't happen overnight. So kind of walk people through how much time, effort, commitment, and I'm sure heartache and money and all that's gone into this.
Yeah, it's probably even bigger than I think it is.
Oh.
So I'll go from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I played baseball for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
You look at these kids out here; they haven't played sports for as long as I've done that. So I've already got a great advantage that I've been through sports. I know exactly what I need to do to get faster. Just the mental game, all of that stuff.
Sure.
And then just getting started in shooting, at first I kind of had some fun with it, but I was like building speed.
Oh, yeah.
So at the time, I think 2019, I didn't really practice much. The next year is when I had access to a range that I could practice at.
Sure.
And that's when, I'm in college, I have nothing better to do. It's summer. I'm working a usual job. Or during COVID, I actually got laid off part-time.
Oh, nice.
So I had an extra half day every single day that I could go to the range and practice for 2 hours.
So you're shooting pretty much 5, 6, 7 days a week for a couple hours a day.
Yep, and that's within that first year of shooting my optics, second year of shooting overall, I hit top 20.
Yeah.
So I think I credit it to having the resources and time to just build speed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when my journey into the mental game started.
Yeah.
If you look at how many hours I've spent working on like physical shooting, triple that in mental time. I've spent like whenever I'm driving to a match, I'm listening to an audiobook on some mental toughness, mindset. I'm literally on YouTube. I probably have thousands of hours in watch time on videos because I'm looking for every little bit that I can find that works for me, because everything's not going to work for me that I find.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of just get a repertoire of everything that I can try and use. So that within the past 3 years, that has been what I have worked on the most. A lot of the speed I've gained hasn't been from speed building exercises. It's just being consistent and then growing the confidence to allow myself to shoot that speed. Like when I shot a 50 last month, it didn't feel like it was anything special. I was just in my game. The stages felt easy.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about it.
And it had nothing to do with Jeff. So we had dinner that night, and I said, all right, Jess, you shot a 52 or something like that. Do you think you can break 50? He looked at me like, oh, no, that's going to happen. I didn't know he was going to try to do it the next day, but
see, that's his mental toughness.
No, so, that's my drive to. I have.
You got that goal.
Yeah, I have a weird. I don't think people should follow my goal set. I think Brad and I might have. We're going to think about doing a podcast on it, but my goal, I have one goal. It's not to win. It's not to do well. It's not anything results orientated. My pure goal is to get faster.
Sure.
That is the only thing I want to do. Like overall match time, not just stage times. I want to shoot faster. That's the only thing I care about. That's the only thing that I found that is fun for me, because it's a goal I can never reach, but it's a goal that never ends either. It's a goal I can always work towards. Whenever I break my own record, the goal's already set. I just let's go faster now.
Yeah.
And it's also a goal that really builds my confidence, because whenever I shoot faster, I'm like, I can shoot faster.
Yeah,
still.
let's do it.
I look at my times. I was like, I still had pickups here. I shot a little slower there. Like, there's so much left on the table. So,
were you the same way, like with baseball? Like, I'm always looking to get a better ERA or a better hitting average, or is it something that applies more to what we do here in the shooting sports?
So when I played baseball, I was a kid. I didn't take it as seriously as I could have. I was in a very competitive area.
Wait, he was a kid. He's still a kid, okay?
If you consider 26 a kid.
Jeff's old. Jesse, go ahead.
But I was in a competitive sport in a competitive area. There were people far better than me at the time, just because they were naturally better than me, whatever it may be. I'm not doesn't worry me anymore. But I still worked at it. I played it for 15 years. Luckily, my parents pushed me through because when I was younger, I played basketball, football, baseball, dropped those off pretty early, except for baseball just because that's what I was good at. Played it up until junior year of high school, and then I dropped out of that just because I wanted to start working, grow the career. I wanted to move on. Had I started shooting when I was 13, I'd have stopped shooting because it didn't interest me anymore.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So, and I know myself well. I only want to do something if I'm enjoying it, or if I have the drive to do something with it. And this has kind of given me that drive because I only like doing things that I'm good at. And my interests, something that grabs my interest doesn't come along very much. So to have something that interests me as much as this does and that I'm good at, I can be better than everybody else. I don't want to say that's the goal, but the goal I have ends up that way.
Sure. So I think the next question in order is, when are you going to start shooting iron sight revolver?
He's not a masochist.
Probably never.
But you have dabbled in some centerfire.
Yeah, I'm shooting open tomorrow.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't take it seriously. That's my
Not
fun
yet.
side of it.
Not yet, though. Not yet.
Like I said, my interests are very...
Yes, but you know what? I will say this, because I started this game in rimfire. Not as, it was 8 years ago. Okay? In fact, June is like my 8-year anniversary of starting this game. I started in rimfire. And what happened to me is kind of what happened to you, maybe not with baseball and maybe not the same exact thing, but I got disenfranchised. I was bored. I didn't, and so I picked up, I'd always been shooting USPSA. So I started, I'm just going to start shoot this. And I had no expectations.
Yeah.
And that's what you have tomorrow. You have no expectations. You're just doing it for fun. But when you start getting better and you start feeling that juice and you're like, wait a minute. And that's what happened to me when I got back into shooting rimfire pistol is I went, wait a minute. I can start applying some of these techniques that I hear other people are doing and I've come up with and how I teach. I mean, that's, and you coach too. We had Brad on earlier, and some of the things that I tell my students, I have to go, write that down because I need to tell myself that. But but I love what you said. You're having fun. And even when you're shooting rimfire, you're challenging yourself to go faster and faster and faster, but you're still having fun.
Yeah.
It's not a job.
I have a weird sense of fun.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. When I'm...
Does it involve needles?
No. Per se, I don't think I have fun shooting.
Right.
But I need to challenge myself.
Okay.
I have an urge, or I have something to fill.
Right.
I need some kind of challenge to push myself. And I guess that's a sort of fun.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Absolutely. Enjoyment. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have to be laughy, smiley, happy fun, but it can be. Like you're getting enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
And you're progressing. And you sound like you're a data guy like me, where you're looking at those numbers. And when you talk about, like, look at these extra shots I took in the score. Look at that string that could have been faster, and that's what I look at. And somebody said to me, do you think 50 is going to be broken? And we talked about it. I said, yeah, I think 50 is going to be broken. Not at this match. I think for those, it's everything's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be perfect.
Now, I will say my PCC, I'm not going to say, like, it's not a 49, but that's like, I can shoot it faster, but 52s.
That's the fastest.
That's like a 49 to me in the PCC world.
Sure.
That's the fastest time by far. I don't even know, was it 55, 56 maybe? Probably prior to that, somewhere in there.
Well, I'm 53 PCC. I don't want to let that go.
Yeah. I like him. He keeps sneaking those in. You're part of the crew.
So have you thought at all about expanding out a little bit into USPSA?
No.
Or anything?
I will never shoot USPSA seriously.
Really?
Yep.
And what's interesting, though, and here's why I asked that, is based on your dedication, of course, obvious skill level. I would say right now Jesse is by far the best and fastest rimfire challenge shooter that I've ever seen, and I've had the opportunity to shoot with some of the best out there. Steel challenge for anything with a rifle. Pistol optics, definitely. Pistol iron.
I'm good. Pistol iron, don't worry about that. We're not going to worry about that.
Yeah, but I think if you put a little bit more time and effort into seriously, you would excel at that. But those types of skill set, if you were to take that with probably, you'd have to put in dedication and time in the movement piece, but you could be a world champion in USPSA. I firmly believe that, just based on your desire, your drive, your ability, and the athletic side. You know what I mean?
My desire isn't in USPSA,
Sure,
so I
sure.
wouldn't treat it seriously enough.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Absolutely. Cool.
So what's next in terms of, you talked to us a little bit about the, never quite satisfied outside of you just want to shoot faster. At some point, that will probably come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think that is, and then what's next after that?
I don't look into the future very much, but I'd say 3 or 4 years is kind of, because I mean, the way I see it, look at all the professional quarterbacks in football. They have the hardest job in any sport, pretty much. And they go into their 40s. Look at Brad Jeffers. He's shot times that an old guy maybe shouldn't be shooting.
Brad is an exceptional athlete. That's
so
what.
If
And you too, Jeff.
Jeff saw personal best yesterday at a 70. So
what did Brad shoot yesterday? A 65?
Yeah, I mean that's not near his best.
And you know what's funny? I saw him this morning, and I congratulate him. And he's so humble. He's like, "Yeah, I could have done better." I mean,
well, for him, he's like me. He knows he can easily shoot a sub 60. If it's not a sub 60, he wants to shoot faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Brad extremely well, and I shot with Brad yesterday. He had a lot of opportunity to clean that up a good bit, and we all go through, and I was having, and I don't know if it was the start of the squad or something happened where everything was just off a little bit, and it cascaded through. And I was a part of that. It was probably one of the roughest PCCs I shot. I was like, was that an 85? It was a 66, and I'm over there throwing rocks. I'm kidding. I'm not throwing rocks, but it was just like, just disappointed with my performance. And same thing with Brad. I talked to him. I pulled him aside. We were shooting 5 to go. I said, hey, I'm not sure if you need this right now, but here's 10 seconds. And he's like, Steve, I appreciate that. And then he was able to refocus a little bit. But, yeah, that 65 is not even close to being indicative of how Brad shoots. It's been amazing just in 24 months to see where Brad was and where he is today. And who knows where he's going to be in 12 months. Because
it's the dedication, I mean, we've all been to a ton of matches, and there's people that just go out there and they're having fun shooting, and that's great.
Yeah,
it's a social event. That's fantastic. And then there's the people that say they want to get better. Well, then it's like, okay, you've made the first step. You've said that. Now, how are you going to get there? Get with a coach. Start listening to mental stuff, because this game is mental.
Absolutely.
Oh, it really is.
It's not just about going fast. And, I've been saying it for a long time now. This is actually not you don't shoot fast in this game. You move fast. That's my opinion. Having come from a USPSA, having a second shot that you have to put on a piece of paper, that's shooting fast. This is just moving fast and pressing the trigger at the right time.
Oh yeah.
That's the difference. I look at how fast Jesse moves in a stage, how fast he's moving through the stage, and then able to see his sights on the plate and press that trigger at that time.
Yeah, because I can shoot a .10 split.
Yeah,
you look at my scores; it'll never be a .10 split.
Mm-hmm.
That's exceptionally fast. For people that have never just even tried to pull the trigger that fast, that's exceptionally quick.
I did it once with a binary trigger.
I will say this, and Chet's going to throw something at me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I've known Chet for a long time. But he's got a modified precision defense trigger that I.
They're fun triggers.
And Jesse called me a savage. I put it in my mill and I fit it for my JP5. And so Dave Wilde, and some people just have. I think that a lot of it is gift and natural talent. People are surprised. I can't pull the trigger that fast, but somebody like Dave Wilde, he can pull the trigger. I thought it was a double. If it wasn't like that 0.10, 0.09, 0.08 somewhere in there, with that trigger, it was just exceptional. But to be able to shoot a 0.10 split, there's people, if you look at, because a lot of that's more predominant in USPSA, right? Because you're putting two on a target. The fastest people in the world are not shooting 0.110 splits. They're just not. That's exceptional.
Yeah.
But the good part, I think, though, about Steel Challenge is that you can squad with one of the best, if not the best shooter in all of Steel Challenge, Jesse Misko right here, and you can walk up and say hi.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the cool part about our sport, but it's also that you can, it's a family event. It's fun. It's serious, but it's not, it's serious and it's competitive, but it's just a great social aspect, and that's what I enjoy, because there's a piece for Steel Challenge for everybody, and, you definitely get out of it what you put into
Absolutely.
it. And that's what, Jesse Grant, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, we spent time together. I told his parents, if he stays with this, God help us. And now he's shooting in the 50s.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago. It was like nobody shot in the 50s. You know what I mean? And
trust me, Jesse Grant and Reagan Hearn.
Oh my God!
I met them both at the West Florida match. They came over and shot that.
Yep.
And when they both started, of course, I was able to beat them. And now I tell them, do they feel good about beating up on an old guy?
The only way you can beat him now is you'd have to chase him down and
Exactly.
hit him.
Exactly.
What other sport can you go to? You can compete against a 10-year-old. You can compete against somebody who can still hold a gun at 90 if they are so
exactly.
inclined.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Carl Sutherland.
Oh, Carl's
a
he's
distinguished senior, and he is still freaking fast.
I heard
can
him on
roll.
pendulum practicing. Who's that? He's hitting all the plates. Sub 2 probably.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
But
It's crazy.
that's what's so cool about the sport, and it is highly junior, highly senior, super senior, distinguished senior. But there's a lot of Jesse, you're 24?
26.
26, okay. Adam's in that same range. Bratcher's almost into his 20s now.
I think we're seeing the true potential of what an adult in their prime
Yes.
shoot. Because recently it's been all Kenny, young Nate Gibson, young Colby Pavlock, young Chris Barrett. I mean, Chris can still hold his own. That's absolutely for sure. But the potential of an adult shooting the sport has it's showing.
It's come a long ways in the 12, 13, 14 years, or however long that I've been shooting. Jeff and I talked about this on a podcast not too long ago. You shot in the 70s. Oh yeah, you're rolling.
Oh yeah.
You shot in the 60s. Like, oh my God. And then
60 was the holy grail.
Yeah, and then 65, and then 64, and then I think Grant broke 60 first, then Chris, and then myself, and then it's been. We're going to look at the end of this match, the top 20 times will probably start with a 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, not even close.
Well, we've had this discussion, whether it was on the podcast or just between us when we talked. 2017. 2017 or 18.
Yeah.
U.S. Steel Nationals. I shot a 75 in PCC and was third.
Yeah.
Behind Casey Eusebio and Cole Bush.
Yep.
I would be surprised if a 75 makes the top 25 in PCC.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, but the game. What's so cool about it is when you look at it, the game, the people who have adopted those rifles, the rimfire rifle, the PCC, the PCCI, the game has changed.
I think
they've changed the game.
I think that rimfire in the PCC game, in addition to the new classification system that went out in 2017, saved Steel Challenge, because at 20, I think this is my 10th world speed shoot. I think the first one was 2010, 2012, It was down in Florida, hot as you know what. There was probably 170 guns somewhere in there. 2016, 2017 out in California. When Larry and I went, that was a good time, but that's another podcast. Brian's like, tell me more. But Kurt and I were talking about it last night. There's like 185 guns. When the match moved to the southeast, and some of it's coincidental because I do believe the old classification system was, this 11 carrying one, it was garbage. The new classification system with the lower barrier of entry to shoot a rifle or shoot a pistol, rimfire, and those kind of things, they used to be side matches. Now they're main matches, and a lot of older people have been around the sport. Oh, that sucks, and then they ruined Steel Challenge. No. It's the exact opposite. Yeah. It took it to a whole different place. It's a sport that's family friendly. People that are 10 years old, or to Jesse's point, 90 years old, can come out, have a great time, be competitive, exercise our Second Amendment rights, and have a great time.
Think about it. You get somebody. I get people all the time, of all different ages, coming to me at the matches and going, "Wow, I always wanted to shoot steel." I'm like, "Yeah, come out." Yeah. So what do you got? I've got a Glock, or I've got a Smith & Wesson, or I've got a Legion, or whatever. And I'm like, "Do you have a rimfire gun?" Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Why would I want to shoot rimfire?" I said, "Because it's fun."
Yeah.
I said, "You get to hit stuff." I said, "Learn how to go fast, then come out and shoot those guns."
Yeah.
Because Smoke and Hope is a blast. Doesn't matter what gun it is. Yeah. Smoke and Hope's a blast. Roundabout's fun. Pendulum can be demoralizing.
Yeah. With me running matches for 3 years straight, I've seen countless new people come in with a center fire gun. I was like, understand, you're probably going to run out of ammo. You're not going to hit any plates.
That never happened to me, Jesse.
I have rimfire guns you can shoot. Oh, no, I'll shoot mine. I was like,
okay.
Understand, if you come back, I'll let you shoot rimfire. And they're like, all right. After the match, you're like, that was horrible.
Am I supposed to reload twice?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's, and it is just, it's this.
Yeah.
It's this right here. It's the community, okay? Yeah. Here's the thing. It's like steel target paint. You're on the precision defense team. That means nothing to us as far as who you are. Mm-hmm. You represent that product, but you're still our friend. Mm-hmm. And that's there's no animosity there whatsoever.
And people don't understand how connected the shooting sport really is.
Absolutely.
Chet Whistle and I have been close since 2017 or so. You know what I mean? And Brad, and I don't mind sharing this, Brad turned Larry and I down. See how I brought Larry down? Because we offered Brad to be a part of the Steel Target Paint shooting team. He said, "Hey, I got this great opportunity with Chet to start this precision defense shooting team." I'm like, "Hey, brother, we would love to have you, but I'm so excited for you to help Chet take that whole organization to the next level." And you guys have got an amazing, amazing shooting team.
Yeah.
You got some exceptional top-tier talent, and you've got a lot of amazing young growing talent, which is really cool to see. So people don't understand how, it's not like, well, heck with that, Jesse's doing this and the heck. Who cares? Everybody's in this sport for something different. Yeah. And a lot of us just like to freaking shoot, and Jeff likes to talk to people. Yeah.
Well, like he said he does at his match. He's got rimfire guns ready for people to borrow. Yep. How many times have you been in a match? I was at a match in Georgia where a guy's gun went down, and Steve was like, "I got a gun.
Yeah.
I got ammo. Mm-hmm. Use my mags. Here, shoot my gun. Go. Stay in the match."
The thing, like, whenever somebody says, like, "Oh, why should you shoot rimfire challenge, steel challenge?" Like, or how to get into them. Like, just go to the match.
Yeah.
Say you don't have gun or ammo.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna give you a gun and ammo as long as you bring some cash.
So
you're good.
That's how I got started at the World Speed Steel in California. When I took steel target paint out there, I didn't take a gun. I just took the paint. And I can't remember his name. He was shooting a revolver.
Oh, yeah.
And he came up to me and says, "You're not shooting?" And I said, "Well, I'm not. And I've never shot this match before. I just brought the paint." He said, "Here." He gave me his rig, his gun, his ammo, and he wanted to see me shoot.
What was it, a 686 or 986 you're shooting?
I think it was a 686.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was. I got hooked on the revolvers after that, but had a blast, and that's just indicative of how that goes, and
Yeah.
that's what happened to me.
I was at that match, and the guy's like, no, you're going to shoot. Larry's like, nah. He's like, no, I got to rig him, blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to shoot. Larry's like, okay, twist my arm. He got in revolvers. This guy's a crackhead for revolvers.
Yeah.
He's not fooling anybody.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, how many times have you been running your match and you see the husband shooting and the wife's not shooting, and you go, "Why aren't you shooting?" "Oh, I'm not that good. I'm and I look him in the eye and I go, "Steel shooters are so involved in their own game that they don't care what time you shoot. Okay, if you paint and if you're safe." We love you. It's that simple. Who cares what you shoot? Who cares what time? Come out and have fun. And then they get the bug, you know, and then they're like, "Oh, I want to go faster." Okay, well, let's talk about how you can get faster. Here are some podcasts you can listen to. Oh, you're local? I can help teach you. I can train you if you want. Or you're not local. I've got guys across the country that I can call and go, "Hey, this person's in your area. Go see Steve."
Yeah.
Well, I never know where Jesse's going to be, but I could,
he's around.
You still reach out to him.
But it's that, and like I said, we're on different teams. It doesn't matter. Like, I've got Jesse's number in my phone. I can call him, and as long as he's not busy, he will talk to me, and I can bounce ideas off of him. And I've done it. I've done it with Adam Reno. Adam's put around all the. Did you see the pictures of Adam's new iron sight pistol with he's got the giant piece of fiber optic, and then he's got a battery hooked up to it with a flashlight, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to work.
That's not the intent of the rule. So let me ask you this, Jesse. There's been a lot of people that have talked a lot about Steel Challenge in the different stages. What's your opinion on? Do we keep the 8? Do we add a couple more? Do we shuffle it up? What's your professional opinion on this?
I've got a very controversial.
Throw it out there, man.
And it's because I'm new. I'm quote unquote new to the sport. I want to see it be as competitive as it can be and available as it can be. So with stages, get rid of outer limits, get rid of speed option, move them into the length of something like Showdown. I don't even care if they're the same. Just make them, the way I see it, make them relatively the same time as what they tend to be. So speed option, we change to something a little more tough. Something like a pendulum, sort of.
Yeah.
Speed option, get rid of the movement, change it to whatever.
Yeah, outer limits.
Yeah. Move that in. And then what I like, or I guess an idea I had is to keep it a little more interesting year to year, have 16 total stages. So design an extra 8 new stages, and then every year swap a stage. So like, let's say number 1 gets moved first, which is 5 to go.
Sure.
So and just kind of have the stages again relatively the same time. In that pool of 6 or the pool of 8, swap out 5 to go for whatchamacallit stage.
Yep.
And then the next, that'll be then at the World Speed Shoot, it'll be that one new stage.
Sure.
Then the next year, you change out number 2 stage. You still keep the new number 1 stage. So after 8 years, you've got 8 completely new stages.
Sure.
And then 16 years later, you've got all your same stages back.
Yeah.
But now they're new.
Yeah.
Because you haven't shot them for 8 years. Or at least, because you can still, and I would say, still allow all 16 stages to be shot as classifications.
Sure.
Any match can have any of the 16. They can shoot Ultimate Steel Challenge with 16 stages. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know. I want to see changes, but nothing drastic.
Yeah, because
even though some people think that's very drastic.
I think
everybody's due their own opinion. I mean, there have been some stages that have been shot in the game that have been retired, and was fortunate enough to shoot them because Volusia had what they called the Ultimate Steel Challenge, and it was a 12-stage match. And some of them were clearly built when it was a center fire draw pistol. The one I'm speaking of is called Double Trouble, where it was 2 plates.
Yeah.
And the low ready was like right below the bottom plate. So it was pull the trigger flail.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of still having 5 stages, drop 4 or drop 1, just keeping the same exact idea of the sport, but add something to it.
Yeah.
Because you look at And people say, well, but all the history and all the world records, if you keep the stages apart from outer limits and speed option, just get rid of them. I don't care. But you add in new stuff, it becomes even more world records. Even more or I'm shooting for a 49. If you change the stages, I don't care. I can still shoot fast on all the stages.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where Rimfire Challenge and Metal Madness Unlimited, where it's different stages every time, which really excite people. But SASP, they had 4 stages, and they added 4. Now they kind of rotate and those kind of things. So just added a different level of complexity. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on it. I think change is good. I think it's okay. Yeah. I mean, back in 2016 when they they about threw Mike Foley out the first time was he brought PCC.
Carry Optics and PCC were provisional.
Yeah, but PCC was the one that's like, whoa, what are we doing here with the long gun? And that's, PCC will be the third? PCCO probably the third highest?
No, I think it's second.
Match?
I think it's second. I think it goes. I'm not 100% sure, but I always talk about the big 3. The big 3 are rimfire rifle optic, rimfire pistol optic, and PCC optic.
Yep.
Those 3 divisions will be 65% or more
of the match.
Literally every match you see.
Yeah.
It does local. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a smattering of a lot of other ones, and there's always outliers. Area 2 last year had 15 OSRs.
Yeah.
They like their
revolver country out there, yeah.
And that's fantastic. There's an opportunity for them to shoot.
Yeah.
That is the Hogue range.
The Hogue range.
Yes.
The Hogue range.
Yes.
Guys, I got a split.
Okay, Larry.
I got a commitment. I'm going to hand my stuff over to Mr. Conley. It's been a blast.
And before you do, Larry, thanks again for being here with your 2 head guys that host your show every week and everything else. And
it's all them, man.
It is, but you're the guy that told me, I don't really like this paint, and you really need to do something with these lenses. So you're the reason I'm even standing here able to produce this right now, because you said, I said, Larry, that's no big deal. You don't understand. You've got something here with these lenses you need to do. So my personal thank goes out to you as well on this 100th episode of the Steel Target Paint Podcast. Larry, thank you for being here, and I'm sure the guys want to say something before you leave as well.
Absolutely, Larry. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Thank you for allowing me to represent Steel Target Paint and be part of this team.
Well, certainly.
It means...
Wouldn't be the same without you.
It means so much to me, and I've met so many good people because of it, not only on the team but off the team, and because of allowing us to do the podcast. Like Steve had said, you get people come up to me and they're like, "Hey Jeff, how you doing?" I'm like, "Do I know you?" "No, but I listen to your podcast," and I'm like, "That's great," And you meet somebody new like that. So, bottom of my heart, thank you.
Well, certainly. You're
and
welcome.
thank you for the knife. I will probably cut myself with it, and that's okay.
Thank you for not
thank
you for not handing the knife to him open, because I was a little concerned where that was going to go.
Well, there was a little bit of a reveal in that.
Yeah, I can't believe where we're at today. Remember that
same.
This paint sales guy back in 2016 at this NSSF match in Mississippi. So,
oh my gosh,
no, it's been a wild ride, and more so than anything, appreciate the friendship.
Yes,
over everything else.
Ever,
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Man, always. Jesse, good to see you, buddy. Signing out.
There's so many neat things that have happened with the shooting sports, and y'all have discussed a lot of it today. But we're inside, of course, we talked about the Magical Mystery Tent area, and you look at these faces that we have on the wall around us. Some people may not even be living with us today, like Tom Palmer, the ROs, and Ron that was up in the Pennsylvania area. And you see other shooters that have come and gone through the sport for the past, only 5 or 6 years we've been doing this. And we're at 100 episodes. Where are we going to be at the next 100 episodes? We should predict that, what's it going to be like? We got so much ahead of us. The sport's still, just like, Jesse said, there's so many things that are just now happening.
with technology and the speed and the focus of where the numbers are at, where we're going to be at in another 100 episodes.
I think this is just the beginning of the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
See, there you go. I mean,
I think the only prediction I can make is I will probably be just as loud then as I am now.
Yeah, that's not going to change.
we'll all have hearing aids by then, which is fun.
One can hope.
We can actually turn our hearing aids down at that point.
So
hang on. I was telling somebody this was the last World's Beat Shoot. Somebody says, "Hey, is Jeff here?" I said, "Shh." There he is. 4 days over.
So last year, Brian bought me the Shoosh shirt. Okay? And I got shooshed. I set the over-under at 10. And I got shooshed over 10 times at the match. All days of the match. Now, I've joked about that this year I'm trying to be the kindler, gentler Jeff that isn't as loud. Well, I'm just as loud. I haven't been shushed yet. And I've been purposely doing that because
Jeff.
I understand.
Hey, Jeff. Shush.
There we go. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
The man, the myth, the legend, your director of Steel Challenge has entered the building.
The
Zach Jones. Zach, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, I am happy to be able to drop in and say hello.
Well, good. From your perspective, how's the match going?
It's going great. I got to shoot 5 guns this year, so I had a great time, and now everybody's getting their chance to shoot all their guns, so it's going great.
Fantastic. Well, this is a great facility. Your crew does an amazing job.
Well, and it really is. It's a crew that it takes to run this match, and all the credit goes to the staff that are on the bays running the shooters day in and day out. I mean, I do the behind-the-scenes stuff with the stats, and Stephanie handles the registration this year for us. And, but it's literally the ROs that are running the shooters day in and day out that make this match the success that it is.
Great. Well, Steve, I got a funny story regarding Stephanie. So you've met John Beach, one of my shooters down at the WAC, and he's here, and he gets checked in, and he finally realizes that Zach is her dad, and says something to the point of, he says, well, I'm a good friends with Jeff Jones, and even though he's not Zach's brother, for a while there I thought it was. And Stephanie goes, yeah, I call him Uncle Jeff. And John goes, I'm sorry.
I feel awkward right now.
That's right. No, you look back at the years and like the maturation of this match here, And I can remember when you had the batteries in the ammo cans powering the bays, and you look at what they've been able to do. There was no Stat Shack. I remember wires running from canopy to canopy, and it's amazing. We've now got the score logging. So, you as soon as they hit approve, you're getting an email that posts your score.
Jeff, I'll share a controversial opinion. I'm following up on Jesse. I don't like the score logs because I don't need that kind of negativity reinforcement in my life.
I've got my phone on airplane mode the entire 8 stages.
I was going to say.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Pro tip.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't have to check your email, man.
Man.
Just ignore it.
It just pops up.
Yeah, well,
That's
that
part of the
buzzing
mental
in your
game.
pocket, and then the bad thing is when you have like an Apple Watch, you see that summary on your email on your watch. It's like, man, that's killing me.
Hey, the weather is clearing up, and people are coming out of the woodwork, and there's 2 people outside the tent that I would like to invite in. Well, one of them I'd like to invite in. The other one can stay out there. But we want to finish up with Jesse here.
Jesse, thank you so much for stopping by to see us.
Of course.
And thank you for showing everybody in the sport what's actually possible shooting Steel Challenge, man.
I appreciate it.
It's good seeing you, brother.
Yeah,
Jesse, thank you. Appreciate it, man. Your friendship and great shooting.
Of course.
So now joining us
Oh, dear.
on the podcast is One of my great friends. Actually, a man who keeps me in line, and I love his sense of humor. Bye, Zach. Thank you.
See you, Zach.
And I will later on. I will share a great conversation we had on a phone call when I was part of Tandem Cross's group. But joining us right now are Mike and Elsie Baker. Guys, how you doing?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So,
doing real good. I come in the tent and saw it was you as usual. But, you know, he talks about my great sense of humor, but when you're around a joke a whole lot, you know, you can't help but laugh.
So yes, Mike keeps me honest. You know, I mean, there's you know, I go back to an old movie called 48 Hours when Nick Nolte is constantly keeping Eddie Murphy down, and he says it. He goes, "Just keeping you down, convict. Just keeping you down." Well, that's that. Mike is my keeping me down guy. He keeps me grounded. So and then of course we all love Elsie. So
yeah, we put up with Mike just to hang around with Elsie.
This is true.
That's what Jeff was trying to say.
Yes,
but
yes.
I always catch the grief. You know.
So, guys, how many world speeds is this for you?
Well, actually, we're not shooting this one, but we haven't missed one in a good while. We're actually down to support Tandem Cross kids.
Okay.
See if they need anything, help them out, watch them, support them.
Okay, that's great.
I think we got maybe about a half a dozen here, honey. Something like that.
This is our 5th time being here.
Yeah.
Being here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not shooting this year, but this is the 5th year we've been.
Right.
And it's always worth coming to see Jeff, you know.
Hey,
and our mascot, Steve.
Hey, I've been called worse today.
Yeah, today. Maybe on this podcast.
Calling you worse.
I'm telling you what. So the Kraus boys are here.
Yeah.
Tristan and Devin.
Oh. Yeah, I got them mixed up. They come
I know, right?
And asked
They're
me, did
feeding
I
him
mind?
Super Grow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We thought Devin was
Destiny,
Tristan.
he asked you to take him up to the practice bay up there. And the whole time riding all the way up there, and we were surprised when he got off. And it wasn't him.
Yeah.
I mean, they've grown up side by side now, just about.
So speaking about kids growing up, we're walking by, and Bryce and his dad.
Oh yeah.
I said, "Bryce, how you doing?" He's like, "Doing good." I'm like, what the heck is?
Yeah. When did that happen?
He sounds like Grizzly Adams now.
It's amazing to see the kids grow up in the sport.
I love
it's
it.
Crazy.
I love it.
They're-
You know, you look back, like we talked about Jesse and Reagan, and you know, and Reagan's never missed a West Florida.
Yep.
We did the 7th installment this year.
Yep.
That's how long she's been shooting, and she's still shooting. And then you go and you look at on a more non-local level. You know, the Krauses. You know, they started young and are still shooting it.
Yeah.
And you can go down the line, and it's just great to see him and to see him come back every year. And do you remember the podcast when we had Mike on? And Mike was saying, you know, we hope to have them till they're about 18.
Yeah.
And then we lose them till they're about 32.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
they have to start adulting.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, I was talking to somebody this morning, Jeff, that it is really so good. These kids are fantastic shooters, but every single one of them, Steel Target Paint's kids, our kids, they're scholars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, they learned, I think they get so much discipline from learning shooting at an early age. They've kept it with them all through school. And all our kids, I don't know if anybody is under an A average, and they're getting all kinds of awards. We've got a couple more going off to college. Caitlin's going to University of Tennessee. Abby's going to University of Alabama.
Kaylee Shanner, she's not here this year,
Hang
but
on,
she just graduated.
Did you hear the Roll Tide in the background?
I felt the chair wiggle a little bit. You know.
That wasn't Rick.
But these kids were just so proud of them. Some of them are still able to shoot some, and some of them, they just have to go on because it's we've had some. Rachel Chamley, she's got her own business now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing, and I'm so proud of the kids. And it's not just the shooting; it's the way they carry themselves. We can go out to a meal, and what was it? Was it here? One of the places the waitresses come out.
Longhorns came out and said, how respectful the kids were and everything.
Yeah.
Says some of the nicest kids they ever waited on. So that means a lot.
No,
you know.
absolutely, absolutely.
You know.
Well, there are definitely some who started, in the junior ranks and were able. Chris Barrett's a good example. Chris shot as a junior and was able, based on just his schooling and all that, he was able to keep shooting. I know he wanted to be here. I know he's not. He was signed up, and I think he got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah, without going into a lot of his personal information, but he had an injury that he had to have surgery for, and the repetition and what it takes to shoot steel challenge, it's still aggravating a little bit, but it's not as bad shooting USPSA. But he's a world-class PCC USPSA shooter.
Missed.
So
he's another one just graduated with some honors.
Yep.
And then you look. I can remember. Well, I can remember back when I used to be able to beat Chris. I can remember back when I used to be able to beat Grant.
I can't remember.
And and Grant Kunkel is now, I'm not sure if he's graduated from the Fire Academy, but I know he's taking that path.
Yep, I think he's graduated.
So he's graduated.
Now.
So I mean, it's just, like you said, just great people.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that earlier, how great the people are. Mike, you and I go back and forth all the time, joking and kidding, and it comes from deep in my heart, and I want it. We talked about the bumper sticker and the tagline, hey Jeff, Steve has a home range. I love hearing it every time.
Mike, did you know that I've got a home range?
Steve had a home range.
Oh, that's right. You were there last week.
He's also got a gun shop with all kinds of toys in it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, well, it was funny. Steve and I talked one day, and we were talking about cleaning guns. He goes, I don't clean guns. I just buy a new safe, put the dirty ones in there, and buy new guns.
That's the truth.
I tell you,
I've seen 'em.
I tell you, I go to help put something together with him, though.
Oh, man.
And the man's got the most tools you have ever seen. But now let me.
Are they organized?
Let me clarify this.
What's that? You're breaking up.
He's got about.
This was a great episode of Steel Target Day podcast.
I say, Steve, where's the such and such? And he starts throwing stuff around the table. I know I got one. I'll come back next time. There's that one and 10 more. Well, I thought I'd get another one in case he's got gone. I organized it one time and I thought he was going to throw me out.
I couldn't find anything.
He says, I got a wife to do that. Leave it alone.
Classic. Oh, so fun.
That's true. There's a lot of truth in what he just said. I feel attacked a little bit, but it's true. It's true. It's true.
It's finally not me. This is good.
Mike's coming over. Let me clear out this 2x2 area.
We go way back. It can get real personal quick. We have to be careful. And Elsie, she's his main secretary. He's going to a match. We may not even be going. I said, Steve, you made your reservation? Oh, God.
I still haven't made the reservation.
Except when he comes here. He knows when he comes up here, he stays at Larry's.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're going anywhere else,
Yeah.
the day before, Steve, have you made your reservation?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
It's true.
And after she's done sent him all the information,
Yeah.
telephone numbers and everything, that's why he bought a trailer a lot of times. He's going to have to
So
sleep
you're
outside.
saying he needs to be led by the hand to the phone.
I'm a busy guy, Jeff. I'm a busy guy.
He's an excellent shooter and worker on guns, but you sort of lead him after that. He's a good guy,
Don't let
though.
him do that to you.
I know.
Gotta be one of our best friends.
I'm taking it like a
Well,
man.
this is exactly what we talk about. Is that we have fun. I mean, if this podcast, whether you've listened to all 100, whether you've just picked up the podcast, realize that this is all about community and having fun.
Yeah.
And we met because of the shooting sports too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back. It was funny because when I had the idea of what we were going to do for the 100th, and Steve and I bounced off a bunch of different ideas, and we were starting to get into that role of doing one every week, and then we realized if we wanted to do one at the World Speed, we were going to have to drag it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, how are we going to do it at World Speed?
Yeah.
And I called Brian, and it wasn't even a question of I think. It was like, I got you covered, brother. That's all. That's literally all he said.
Yeah.
That's all he had to say. I got you covered.
And
thank you again, Brian, for that.
I was talking to somebody this week again. I forgot where it was, but I was talking about Brian because I've got a video of basically when Brian made his start at Griffin. That was probably one of your first bigger matches, I believe.
When I won the glasses.
It videoed. He was so excited, and
that's the match we met at. I think
had a little old tiny tent, with one little stand, and it just made a big impression there. And man, look at him now.
It's amazing.
And you know what's so good about it? He was just one of the guys, and now he has a fantastic organization, and he's still just one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do anything in the world for you, give you a gun, give you a pair of glasses, you know.
Well, that's Brian has told me when, like, people are blown away when he's like, oh, you like those? Take them. Go shoot. Go.
Yeah.
Well, do I need to leave? No, go. I don't even need your name. I'm trusting you to bring them back. Go.
Trust a person with a gun. I got bigger issues.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Yep, he has really supported this sport tremendously.
I never thought I would get into it. It's been 6 years, 6 years
Something
now?
about like that.
I told that story just the other day.
Did you really?
Yep.
First gun I brought to the house, she had a fit. This was not long after our son died, and I just wanted to take up doing something. I was just shooting a 9mm at the local gun range, and I finally showed it to her. And, what are you doing with this in the house? Well, you can't. And so she went to a rimfire match, World Rimfire. Saw a lot of people shooting, a lot of ladies shooting, young, old. And so she got interested, and I took her back to the local gun range, got her shooting the .22 a little bit, and it progressed from there. And then Steve started Cerakoting some guns for her and all, and now I can take one of her guns out the gun safe, and she's, there's my baby. We created a monster. But she's very competitive. We got started real late.
No, she's competitive?
No. Yeah. We got started a little late, but we have won a few things through the, but we're really here for the camaraderie, support the kids, be around people like Jeff, and I don't know if he ought to play that back or not, but
we can edit. It's on tape. It's on tape. Nope, it's official.
But the shooting community is just one big family. We have a great time. Everybody competes, but when they're not competing, we're all friends.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's the best part about this, especially the World Speed.
Yeah.
Is you guys. We don't live close to each other. You live a lot closer to Steve. You get to see him, okay? And we get to converse online and all that kind of stuff. But to see you here, this is, to me, it's like old home days.
Yeah.
You got and they happen to be great shooters. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's about seeing people.
That's right.
And walking up and down and they, what's cool about the kids is you see them growing up.
Right. Exactly,
I mean, I can remember when I was taller than Lance Bratcher Jr. And now he's like towering over me. I mean, that kid shot up like a sprout. And he's not a kid anymore.
I look back at the pictures and I'm like,
oh yeah, and it's that I love that. I mean, I wish Kenny was here. He wasn't able to make it this year.
Yeah.
But one of my jokes was always, I'm going to get one of those big foam fingers, and I'm going to poke you in your shooting eye. It's the only way I'm going to be able to beat you.
Jeff, there's one thing I can say. I know we need to get out of here, but you know what I think about it, and I realize, too, that it's probably one of the few times I have to see you a year. So.
Well, you're also going to have to give me a hug, my friend. Come here. No handshaking.
I love you, my brother.
Same here. Love you, too,
I
Elsie.
love you, Jeff.
Thank you, sweetie. Love you. All right. So I think I saw somebody mulling around out there. I don't know if she's still around. Steve had to step out, everybody.
Yeah, Steve had to step out real quick, go to take care of a customer based on one of his customers
Yep.
he's taking care of things with. But we can pause this real quick and come right back. And
Let's
we'll do a
do
wrap-up.
that.
So,
Let's do a
no big
pause
deal.
and then we'll do a wrap up. Thank
That'll
you,
work. We'll
Brian.
be right
All
back.
right, we'll be back, people. Okay, we're back after a little bio break, but you know what? It's been 2 hours.
Has it only been 2 hours?
Only 2 hours that we've
Holy
been talking. Thank you, everyone who listens. Thank you, everybody who has shared friendship and stories and handshakes. It is greatly appreciated from me. I'm going to let Steve say his thank yous as well, because I don't want to put words in his mouth as much as I could, because I talk all the time. But you know, that's what we're about, is fun, sharing, camaraderie, community in this sport. It is a lot of fun, and so you can't see this because it's on a podcast, but I'm giving Steve a big handshake and a hug and thanking him for 100 episodes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Couldn't have done it with a better person. Thank you.
Same here, Jeff. I can't believe what this turned into over the last few years. I knew that we wanted to get some information out there. There wasn't a podcast dedicated to, Steel Challenge, Rimfire Challenge, Metal Badness, and all the other sports that take paint, right?
Yep,
so
exactly.
But it's been an amazing journey. We've met some amazing people along the way, and certainly made an impact on probably more people than we'll ever know. But thank you to Larry to have this crazy idea to make some
let us
pay for steel
go crazy.
targets.
Yeah, exactly.
And thanks, of course, to our good friend Brian Conley for hosting us this weekend. Brian's a fantastic guy, and
absolutely
appreciate all that he does for the sport. But one thing that we have in common with the people that we talk to is people that are really investing into the sport, investing into the shooters, and it's been a humbling journey, and just proud and pleased to be a part of it, sir.
Absolutely. It's like I said, it's that community feeling. It's old home days.
Yep.
When you come up here and you're seeing people you haven't seen maybe since last WSSC.
Yep.
Maybe it's somebody you've never actually met in person.
Yep.
You've talked to them online, and you finally get to meet them in person. That's what's so cool.
I hug more people or get hugged by more people at this match than any place I've ever been. So.
I agree. So,
yeah.
Well, again, thank you everyone for listening. It's not a podcast unless we end it with
ST Podcast 10.
There we go.
All right, Jeff.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks,
Thank you,
man.
Brian.
Thanks.